Are we rolling?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Ceremonial. Oh, that's for the
Right. It's the one.
To let you know, we have not abandoned you, our sweet, loyal listeners. We are here for you despite the COVID-19.
Pandemic.
And to my left,
Chris Smith.
to his left,
Steve Hoffert.
and to his left,
Nick DeVito.
and to his left,
Steve Sleepy.
and your humble narrator, Phil Waters. So tonight,
Hey, that was way shorter than last week.
it is. Well, that's the idea. We're gonna get to business, as they say. We're gonna start with promotions, marketing.
Well, let's just preempt this with. So I brought, because of always going to Porco,
Yeah.
I made a painkiller last week, and we all had fun doing it. And so Chris said, I have to outdo him and go to the actual professionals.
He did.
And what happened today?
Chris did not say that.
Well, I
How
think
did this happen?
Yeah.
Tell us about this miracle.
Well, so I am a big believer in supporting our people out there that are not able to be open these days. So I've been buying food from various bars and beer from bars and stuff. So I called Stefan. I texted him and said, hey, I'd like to buy a growler of painkillers for the podcast on Friday night. And he got back to me and said, yeah, I think I can make that happen. So I swung by today after work, and I went in there, and he said, here you go. So he gave me 2 bottles of the mix.
It's called
that he-
PK juice, man.
And he said, just take this, and then he gave me a whole bottle of the rum.
So he gave you a bottle of Black Strap, so Cruise On Black Strap rum, which is the correct, if I'm drinking a painkiller, that is the one way that I will modify the drink depending on the house and how they serve it. But the way I like a painkiller is I like a painkiller with Black Strap rum. I like the smokiness of it. I like that mouthiness that it has.
And I have to admit, I will never have it any other way now.
Well,
that
it's-
is delicious.
It is my way to do
Yeah.
a painkiller. So
So Stefan
not the
threw
only
those up on the bar, and I got my wallet out, and I said, all right, how much do I owe you? And he says, nothing. I said,
wow.
no, wait a minute, Stefan. Let me give you, and, this is probably, in his world, a couple $100 worth of painkillers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so I
Right.
tried to give him money, and he said, no, I'm not going to accept any. You guys are good customers, and you always treat me nice. So I said, well, we're going to do a huge shout-out, tonight at the podcast. And I said, why don't you get your ass down to the podcast? We'd love to have you.
Yeah, what else is he doing on a Friday night?
Yeah, he says he's taking a nap.
He's probably taking a well-deserved nap.
So, but anyhow, that was just so, what a gentleman. He's what's a true gentleman, and he cares about us,
Yeah, he does.
and
It
we
was
care
good
about
seeing
him.
him last week.
Yeah.
And it is fun. We patronize Porco as much as we can. We consider them to be our house bar. They've always looked out for us, supporting band camp. I know that this year, if there's going to be a Mile High Mayhem 23 scooter rally, it's going to be at the end of August, beginning of September, and he's scheduled himself to be, that's our club. That's the Jedi Knight Scooter Club. So the Jedi Knight Scooter Club, now, among other things, we have Yacht Club. So we have the Landlocked Yacht Club. So anybody who knows Denver knows that Denver's not covered with lakes. They have little ponds, the kind that you put the little swan-shaped paddle boats in. Those little ponds that you could basically throw a rock across. And yet these guys all own boats. Not big boats, little boats, really little boats. And so they're doing the scooter rally this year is going to have a Tiki theme, nautical theme. Mm-hmm. So Stefan's going out to support that, provided we have it, right? So fingers crossed that we're going to get back to a real world.
So as a devil's advocate, if you were not from this area and you were coming through Cleveland, where would you find this amazing establishment that we all
The first thing
get?
is, with all your thumb-powered devices, just crush the letters Porco into there, Porco.
Right.
And Porco, we've had so many podcast listeners end up at Porco because they're in Cleveland, and we talk about it lovingly on the podcast, and they show up at Porco, and what do they all say? They first announce themselves at the bar that, the guys from ClevelandMoto sent me. And then they're like, oh, okay. They're going to give you very special deals, 30% over the normal retail price of the drinks. Yeah, exactly. And really, though, they'll make all kinds of extra charges on your credit card when you're not looking. But they do. They take really good care of our podcast listeners. Clearly, they took really good care of us tonight by giving us, drinks that we couldn't pay for tonight. Because this is COVID-19, man. So and anybody wants to make one of these at home so they can play along, I'll give you guys the down and dirty recipe. It's actually a really easy drink to make. because you don't need to have all the fancy stuff. You don't need to have orgeat. You don't need to have some really crazy crap that Stefan does for his painkiller. So they copyrighted. There was a marketing thing that happened by a company called Pussers, and Pussers makes these a British rum, right?
Rum, yeah.
And they make a British
Dark rum.
Navy style. Well, they make a lot. They actually make quite
Is
a
it
few.
Pussers or Pussers?
It's Pussers, man. Pussers. And so Pussers rum is traditionally, because now they have bought the name Painkiller, they own. So that's like their thing. Like if you say a dark and stormy, right? That's what the heck's the name of that rum company that has the seal on it? Gosling's. So Gosling's has their dark and they have Gosling's rum, and then they have special ginger beer that
Made by Gosling's, isn't it?
what's that? Yeah, it's
I think
their own
it's
shit.
Yeah.
So it's like you buy part A and part B from Gosling's, and you make their drink, their dark
Okay.
and
Make
stormy.
your epoxy.
Yeah, exactly. It's liquor epoxy. It's got epoxy for your liver. And so that's, but the way I do it, so instead of 2 ounces of Pusser's rum, I use 4 ounces of blackstrap. Because what we do here is we don't do a level 2 painkiller or a level 3 painkiller. We try to go for that level 4 painkiller, which is getting the pain right where it fucking lives, right? And don't waste time in the stomach. Go straight for the brain.
Why take baby aspirin when you could take a elephant pill?
Right. I mean, where
Laudanum.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You know what? Oxycontin's such a harsh word. We're going to call it Norcon from now on. Or yeah. So 4 ounces of pineapple juice, 1 ounce of orange juice, 1 ounce of cream of coconut, and that's the stuff you can buy in the Goya cans or however you want to do your cream of coconut.
But cream of coconut. That's
Yes,
the important
cream of
part.
coconut is
Not
important.
coconut water or
No,
coconut
not
juice.
right.
or-
Cream
Right.
of
It's got to be cream of
coconut.
coconut. You'll know you got the right stuff if it comes out in clumps, and if you got to really beat the living tar out of it.
Get a
To
spatula.
get it really working there, and then grated nutmeg on top and a little pineapple wedge, and you're off to the races. But of course tonight we're not sissies. We're drinking it just the way it came out of the shaker. Here we are, to Porco.
Porco Stefan was. True
Thank you,
gentleman.
Stefan.
And Chris for picking it up and thinking of us. Thank you, sir.
That was well played, well plotted, and totally well executed. I gotta love that.
Maybe the last time too.
Well, and this is that weird. I mean, this is the whole thing. Is nobody has any fucking idea what this is going to turn out to be. I mean, nobody. If you talk about the Stafford Act and all these different ways that our country deals with emergencies, and we have all these levels of force, these levels of continuum that we use to protect our citizens. Sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to be pleasant. We here in Cleveland we're not being forced to stay in our houses yet. So my customers are coming and going. We've got protocols here at the shop. We got our
Do tell.
So we've got Clorox wipes that we use on everything anybody can touch.
Temperature gun?
We have a temperature gun,
Okay.
and we'll get into that in about a second. And we're keeping the door locked. So the door is locked at the front of the shop, and we are vetting people. And what a change this has been. You talk about a behavior we're going to keep after the virus goes away. Yeah. To prevent COVID-20 and COVID-21, ClevelandMoto will continue to interview through the safety of our glass.
We need to see your credit rating
Can you swipe
and
your
your
card?
health rating.
Right.
Are you
Exactly.
buying a motorcycle? Show me the cash.
Right,
You
exactly.
need a glass cubicle with 2 doors, and they walk in, and it's
Exactly. It's a man trap.
yeah.
It's
and
like
then it
a-
scans
man
you,
trap.
and
Like
then
the
it
jewelry store.
ejects you.
You got
It is like a jewelry
to
store.
let them in.
If anybody goes to the Chase Bank over here by the Marks,
Yeah.
they've got a
Yeah.
man trap.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
got to go through the man trap to get in. And it's always very awkward with somebody who hasn't been to that bank before.
Right.
And like you just open the door and like 3 people pile in, and you're like, this is going to be awkward because it won't open the inside door until the outside door closes.
Right.
So you're sitting in there that whole time, and you could be a jerk and just hold the outside door open a little while longer, make them all squirm a little bit.
Wear a ski mask just to fuck
Well,
with
they have a
people.
metal detector in there too, and I always have my Gerber tool. So you go in there, and there's 3 people caught in the man trap, and then I walk in, and they go, "Ee." You're like, don't worry, they'll let us in. What the fuck?
What does
Oh,
that
man,
mean?
what does that mean? Don't worry, they'll let us in. Oh shit. So that is so we're doing that, and we're putting our phone number on the door so that people can call in to say like, I'm here to pick up my Kawasaki. So we can okay, great, cool. We'll come over, we'll grab your credit card, we'll swipe your credit card in here in the building, and one of the mechanics will bring your Kawasaki out to you and hand off the keys, and
Which is safer for the customers too.
it is absolutely. That's
Right.
the reason you do it. Is it's both protecting yourself but protecting other people too.
Put this in your ear, put this in your mouth, put this in your
Yes.
mouth. Oh, wait.
wait.
This one goes in your ear. This one goes in your...
We were joking
This
that
one
we
goes
were
in
saying
your
for the
mouth.
podcast tonight I was going to be greeting people at the door
Yeah.
with a thermometer, and there would be one rectal and one oral, but you wouldn't know.
No,
It
yeah.
was like a key party. It was luck of the draw.
And you get doubled.
All right,
Sniffs.
all right. So a priest, a rabbi, and a
no.
vicar
A vicar.
walk into a bar.
Well, not
The barman looks up and says, "Is this some kind of a joke?"
Hey, I got a joke about the coronavirus.
Okay.
You probably won't get
You
it.
probably won't.
Yeah.
The,
Didn't you say that last week?
I think so.
Yeah.
Patreon members, just to let you know, Patreon members, Renee is reaching out to you. And wouldn't you all like to be reached out to by Renee?
Oh, yeah.
Renee's reaching out to all of our Patreon members to consult you guys what size shirts you need. And we're doing a kind of a combo with a beer koozie and a pint glass or a coffee mug and a shirt. So
That's awesome.
Wow.
Renee will be reaching out and asking what size shirts you need because we've got a new shirt that I'm wearing
Oh,
today.
very nice.
You guys are more than welcome to feast your eyes on the new
Who did
new
the
prize.
artwork on that one?
That is our local Cleveland artist who's done everything so far. It's gonna you bear with me. It'll come back to me in a second. I literally spaced it.
All right. Oh, looks good.
Hey, also in the Netherlands, people are stocking up on toilet paper and weed just for shits and giggles.
And that is absolutely factual. There's no doubt that's real. I did get a heads up, Steve. I got some news you're gonna like. Apparently, this is real. This is not even. I mean, this isn't a Corona Day gag or anything like. Yeah, we're not making fun. But apparently, for real, one of our listeners, Big Ben, in L.A., sent us the California Air Resources Board official official approval for the Honda 150cc ADV scooter.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a big goddamn deal because when you do that, it's called the Honda ADV 150, showing a CVT
CVT,
transmission and 149cc motor, and sure as shit, it's California Air Resources Board approval.
I'm buying one as soon as it gets here.
I'm gonna say that it's got to give you great hope because
It does.
you know that ain't nobody gonna approve anything through CARB unless it's going to be real.
When they bring the 750 out, I will retire motorcycles.
Yeah.
I'm serious. When the 750 ADV scooter gets here, I have no reason to have a motorcycle.
This thing really does look like an Africa Twin, but in scooter form.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the 750
Yeah.
version of it.
Yeah.
Is that the 150 version?
That's the 150.
Yeah.
I'm definitely buying one of those. But that's probably a 2021 then, right?
I guess so, right? That would make sense. I don't think they'd release it as like, even if it comes out anytime after May, usually count that as a 2021.
Yeah.
You count it as the
You
next
have
year.
enough stuff to get used to, like new stuff to learn about and get used to, that I think you can make it.
I think you can handle it.
A year, make it a year.
Apparently, Interstate 5, or as people from L.A. would say, on the 5. On the 5, a few miles south of downtown L.A., 0730, there's a picture that Big Ben sent out from the cab of his truck. He's clearly driving some sort of commercial vehicle. And that freeway is fucking empty.
Empty.
I
Did
mean,
you see?
empty.
I don't know. I don't know the name of the freeways in LA, but there's the famous one where they always show like the traffic
The
block.
105?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
maybe it's the 105,
Right.
and they showed it, and it looked like a slot car track. There was nothing but like black grooves on both sides.
I love the pictures. Did you send the pictures of Vegas? Or is that Cameron?
No.
Yeah, somebody
I think it
sent
was
pictures
Cam.
of Vegas.
Nothing.
And at first I thought it was a Photoshop picture because there was fucking nobody on the road.
Right.
And then I looked way up and there was one car and there were some people on the sidewalks in Vegas who I'm sure were just like snapping flyers at you. Hey, man, you like titties? Hey, man.
Can you imagine the unfortunate sequences of events that would take place if by chance they were shooting an apocalyptic movie during this? And so you have a bunch of people in zombie masks running down the
I
street.
don't understand
film.
why they haven't rolled the film crews out
Yeah, just
Now.
now to get B-roll.
to get 28 days later than later.
Yeah, right.
28 months later.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds
After
of...
the zombies have
after
died.
the zombies. There's all kinds of post-apocalyptic shit that can be filmed,
Yeah.
and it's going to save millions of dollars of CGI.
Yeah.
And they've already done the grunt work for you.
Yeah.
They've emptied the streets.
Right.
But you do remember
Yeah.
in Resident Evil that it wasn't the virus that caused the zombies. It was the vaccine.
It was the vaccine, right? Fuck you, malaria drugs. I'll
and,
take my chances with the COVID.
The guy at the top just announced that they're pulling out of storage that 20-year-old vaccine for whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That's supposedly going to work.
What is it?
Some 20-year, like they've developed this vaccine 20
malaria
years ago.
vaccine.
Malaria vaccine.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
And-
you guys need a vaccine? Oh, I think we have one of those.
And that's how Tarman from Revenge of the Living Dead became.
Right.
You know,
You're going to cycle through like, okay, yeah, so let's go through this. Yeah.
So when that vaccine comes out,
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that all those anti-vaxxer fucks, stand true and stay away from the
Back
vaccine.
of the line. Back
you
of the
don't
line.
want that.
Yeah.
You can't get this.
Right.
Fuck
Fair
you.
enough. Fair enough. Interesting. Kind of a weird deal. I know we threw some shade last week on the NC 700X.
Yeah.
Yeah, we threw some shade on that. And for the record, one, I had been drinking, and two, we don't actually hate the motorcycle.
How many at this
Actually-
table have owned them?
Exactly.
Can you refresh my memory because I don't remember much after the midpoint of that.
Things were pretty shady.
I don't remember leaving Porco.
I don't remember
I
talking
don't
about the
remember
NC700X.
casting aspersions about the NC700X, but I mean,
Well, we did say that
oh
it
wait,
was.
you guys are saying the low revving thing.
We were just saying it was about as exciting as.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you guys were casting aspersions,
Right.
not me.
Yeah.
'Cause I
No,
couldn't care
no.
less about
You
every
love its diesel-like
motorcycle.
nature. Yeah,
I do too. And
Right.
like the thing is nobody bought one of those bikes expecting to wheelie and
Yeah.
do cool stuff.
Which-
you buy it because you knew about it.
I'm sure at least one person bought it expecting.
Well,
to
the guy
win.
that had mine before I bought it, because it had 137 miles, and he turned it back in, and then I got it for $3,000.
Yeah, but Phil could wheelie that bike,
I tried it. It was very difficult.
It is.
but you could do it though, right?
Yeah, I could get a wheelie out of it, but the funny thing was, I define wheelies. There's clutch wheelies, right?
Yeah.
'Cause,
Power wheelies.
Clutch wheelie is a clutch wheelie, and it's not great for the machine. And sometimes that's what you have to use. And then, of course, there's an actual power wheelie, right? And then there's a bounce wheelie, right? So you have a bounce wheelie, a power wheelie, and a clutch wheelie. And I did go out on into a, of course, private area where it's authorized to do so.
Road closed.
The road was closed.
Yeah,
It was a
right.
closed course only, just myself and
Professional
one
driver.
or two other motorists on the road. And I tried like son of a bitch to make a clean wheelie on the thing, like to make it a good proper wheelie.
Right.
I couldn't do it.
No.
No, I couldn't. And it has torque. I mean, the funny thing was that revving it to 5,000 did not help the wheelie delivery. It actually worked better to kind of just rev it to 3,000 and be super monster abusive to the clutch.
I had one by accident on
Yeah.
route the 666 road out in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. They had these big whoops.
Oh, yeah.
And I was going through them, and I powered through this whoop, and all of a sudden I was like, "Oh shit, I'm doing a wheelie!" Like it was great, but I think it had a lot more to do with like the road and the
I
compression
was
of
going
the
to say,
suspension and everything. Yeah.
right. Even the Blue Streak at Cedar Point will do a wheelie, even though the car weighs like 9 tons. Yeah, right.
right.
It's just how the track is laid out.
Right.
Interesting from the good news, bad news department. The rumors of our death have been greatly exaggerated here at ClevelandMoto, despite the virus. We have been selling bikes. We sold a Black Forest edition, which is the Zero DSR.
Oh wow.
Yeah, with the urban camouflage. If you look close, it looks like the trees of the Black Forest.
Or it almost looks like somebody scratched the paint until you look
It does,
at it.
but you look at it really close, you realize it's urban camouflage, and not only is it urban camouflage, but all of the dot matrix or the grid matrix style elements are actually trees. And
Oh.
so when you're like, oh, the tan background is just tan background, no, that's trees too.
well.
Those are upside down trees.
And it came with some nice bags. What?
It did. It comes with really, really nice bags. So SW Motec now is doing the luggage for the
Okay.
DSR, so they're not fucking around.
No, that's legit.
Way to go, Zero. We're going to put a bunch of luggage on our bikes, and manufacturers tend to put really cheesy luggage on bikes.
So people just want to throw away.
and you just want to be like, why didn't you put real luggage on it? And Zero puts SW Motec on, which for the life of anybody out there, that is not with which to be fucked.
And here's the cool part. So like one of the problems with hard bags, and a lot
Yeah.
of guys that kind of go off road talk about them is like you'll fuck your legs up if you fall over sometimes, right? But on that bike, they have the crash bars that extend all the way out to where the bars are.
Yes.
So if you fall over, keep your fucking feet on the pegs.
Yeah, well, those are their law enforcement. So those are what they call their law enforcement tip over guards.
Okay.
And those do fucking work.
Yeah.
We've had some people lay those things down, and with those,
I mean, it
tip-over
looks like
bars
if
on
you
there,
hit the side with both of those things on it, your
Yeah.
leg is safe.
you're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good design, and I was very happy to have the customer. So we sold that. We sold an FXS.
You sold that Vespa that my buddy was going to buy.
So we did sell that chocolate GTV.
Yep.
Absolutely, we did that. We sold a number of bikes. Unfortunately, I regret to inform you that we did sell the 919.
That quick.
I didn't get to ride it. I literally rode it down the goddamn side street, brought it back so I could sign the paperwork for the guy, and let him.
Was he a listener or was he the guy that walked in?
He's a guy that does listen to our podcast. So his name's Craig Brooks, and he's been a listener for a long time, and he does watch our YouTube videos and stuff like that. And when he heard about the 919, he did his research, and he came in, and he was, fuck him.
And what?
Fuck him. God damn it. I love your money.
Congratulations. That's
I
good.
love your
And if
fucking
it's
money,
okay-
but
If it's okay, what did that bike sell for?
I don't know. We could look it up. It's on the website.
Okay.
I didn't give any fucking discount because I fucking want to ride that fucking bike, man. Whatever happened to Primum Noctum
No,
around
but I
here?
mean, that's a really good
Who?
bike. So I want to know.
Who's she?
Yeah,
No, but
exactly.
I'm saying, like, I want to know what a really good used bike is going for
Yeah.
right now, because that's you could have that bike for 10 years.
I think
and
I
not
may
be
have
sick of it.
undersold it.
Did he trade it in?
No, he did not give us a
Give us a
trade.
trade.
So it's a straight deal. So that's cool. The
Look out there, Steve.
yeah.
No trades.
No, well, but there's
But
one.
now
There
there's
is a
an
trade in there we're going to talk about. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we did take a bike in. So we sold it for $4,500, $44.99.
So
Apparently, we didn't ask enough money for it. So
it was a good looking bike, man.
it's a really fucking cool bike, and I'm pissed off I didn't get a chance to ride it for a week or two. And the weather's shit now, and he's probably going to come and pick it up tomorrow. So fucking son of a bitch, hate
Well,
making
just
money.
don't unlock the door.
I know, right?
Buddy.
I'll go up there with my
making money.
SARS mask on and just be like, no, man.
Right. I hope he gets coronavirus.
Thank
I'm gonna
you,
go Corona all over the seat. Yeah.
Thank you for your money. We are closed until June.
I mean, look, I'm just being sour grapes because you get a bike that you really, really like,
Right.
And you do. And part of this business is you can't name the chickens, right?
Right.
And so when you do get a bike you really, really like, guess what? Other people like it too. So, yeah, I'm sad to lose the 919. But as a consolation prize, due to the fact that Cleveland has apparently been nuked in the job market, we had a fella come in and say, I wanted to sell you my Harley Davidson before the rush. So I didn't wheel it over. I should have wheeled it over for the podcast background, but maybe I will right now. There in the room with us at this very moment is a 2007 Fat Boy, which is the, that's a fuel-injected 96 cubic inch modern-ish Harley Davidson. And it came in on the like, hey, I just got laid off. And apparently if you don't have gold Krugerrands, a Harley Davidson will do. So, yeah, so we bought that Harley Davidson that's sitting over there right now.
That's a good looking bike.
I just listed it on Facebook. Yeah, it's a Fat Boy. It's got those funny wheels.
I like the
on
wheels.
front and the back. I don't know. I have no idea. I have
Wait,
no
what did
idea.
you say?
Cruise control.
I don't think
Oh,
it does.
no.
I would. There's nothing about that is in the FLHT camp. It's just a Fat Boy. I mean, it's a Fat Boy. Now, it is a newer model Fat Boy, so it has a chubby back tire and it's got a wide back fender and all that fun stuff that you get with the 96 cubic inch. But yeah, it is one of those things that I was kind of riding James hard. James sent me a text yesterday and he's like, "Hey, we got this guy's bringing this in and he's pretty hot to trot. He wants to sell this bike in a hurry." And I said, "Dude, Harleys are not going to be a good thing to have. It is not going to be it's not going to be a commodity. A lot of guys are going to be dumping their Harleys because a lot of guys in Cleveland who have Harleys are the kind of guys who aren't going to work next week,
Right.
right? And so the Harley's going to be that commodity that goes so that they can buy shit tickets or food or whatever they
How
might
many
need.
rolls of toilet paper is a Harley Davidson worth?
Oh, we could do the math on that. Yeah, we could figure that out.
One jumbo pack.
Yeah, the toilet paper thing is strange to me because I've always had a bidet, and I know how to treat my ass.
Even if you don't, if
Yeah.
you have a shower, you have a toilet paper.
Yeah, or even just a bowl of salt water
Right.
next to your thing. You can
Yeah.
clean your.
Or what about an old bag of tube socks?
Hey,
No,
there you
'cause
go.
People heard the flu, and they think the flu is where you puke and poop.
Shit your brains
Right.
out. yeah.
Diarrhea.
And it's not. The
No.
flu is respiratory.
Right, that's true.
To Chris, what you're talking about, one of the funniest cartoons I saw with these socks all standing in front of the laundry thing. and there's like 3 sets of socks, and they all have eyeballs, and they're
Right.
great. And the sock's telling the other one, "Don't get lost, dude. If you get lost, you're going to be toilet paper."
That is factually accurate. Yeah, it was very strange to have that be the first one that came in, the first Harley that came in, because we've been through this before. You remember that our company has survived a previous recession. So that we remembered in 2009 when we started seeing a lot of that stuff come in, and having a pile of money hiding in the back so that we could do this was important, and we wanted to make sure we're in.
Well, that's
It's like
during.
stocks.
It is.
That's what you do.
Well, during that recession, though, you
buy 'em.
you had commodity, as in you had scooters. 'Cause
Yeah, we
everybody
had-
wanted
yeah.
cheap,
Oh yeah,
high mileage stuff. So that probably worked out all right for you.
for us, it was tough. You know, we went from a big year in 2008 to an extremely desolate year in 2009, like most businesses did. But we survived it because we did have stuff that we knew that people wanted to have. Like we had doubled down on light duty, inexpensive bikes. So we had bought a bunch of pre-owned bikes that were very, very inexpensive so that people that were on a budget could still afford to have a good time. They were just having a $2,200 good time instead of having a $6,000 good time.
That has to be a really good bonus compared to like some of these big deals. Like, so, you know, I've heard people even say like, "Phil, why didn't you get bigger? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?"
Because I
Carry
tried
this and
that.
so-"
Remember that second store I had?
Right. No, but what I'm saying more importantly though
Stay
is
small, keep it all.
Instead of like keeping a bunch of like new brands where you're stuck just pumping this out,
Right.
you can really analyze what's coming, what's going on,
Yeah.
and then buy appropriately
Right.
to the best of your knowledge, and at least,
Absolutely.
you know, have those
Yeah.
bikes available. or
And it
something.
really is. We have to listen very carefully to everybody that comes in, especially in these times, because when we hear a story from somebody who says, "Look, I'm not having a great week, or I'm not having a great month, or my job just went away, or whatever," yeah, we got to kind of look at the way they're dealing with it. And yeah, it's not just you're selling your bike. I sold it to you last year for $9,000, and you're selling it for $4,000. Yeah, I'm in, but not really.
Yeah, why?
Because there have been a few that we did not do great on, even when we thought we were making a killer deal.
And the whole economy
The whole
around
economy.
it is crumbling. So
Yep, it's true.
So let me ask you a question. Do
Yeah,
you
go
think
ahead.
the auctions will be fruitful?
I don't. I really don't.
You don't think there'll be a ton of bikes there?
I think there's going to be a glut initially because no dealer, and these are dealers who go there, no dealer's going, "You know what I need to do right now? I need to fatten up my inventory. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show up at the auction. I'm going to spend about $200,000. Right now, dealers are not spending $200,000.
they're going to say we need to conserve
but,
cash.
but
Yep.
bikes are being repossessed.
And I think
And
that
banks are
the
dumping.
auction's going to look really good in 6 months. So I think that, first of all, even if you stop paying the note on your, whatever the hell you got,
Yeah.
your BMW, even if you stop paying the note on your BMW today,
Oh, they're not picking it up.
well, first of all, go find the repo guy that's going to be out hunting bikes right now.
Right.
Okay. And there's going to be protections put in place to protect you from people taking your property away from
That's
you
true.
right now
Yeah.
if you don't pay your interest, et cetera. So there's going to be some relief things put in place. So I'd say right now, if I was a collections agency at this very moment, it could be pretty ugly. It could be a really weird game. Like either I'd have all my crew out there trying to pull in as much inventory
Yeah,
as they
right
could
now.
pull in
Yeah,
right
right
now.
now.
Because if I was in the collections or acquisitions market or, that game, I really think that within a short
There's gonna be
while,
a 3 or 4 month moratorium on.
there will be.
on-
And
on,
nobody's going to be allowed to repo shit.
repo.
And I wouldn't be surprised if 3 or 4 months before anybody's allowed to repo anything. But more importantly, the people that run those auctions, look, you can't have more than 50 people in one place. That's a fucking rule. And I'm not
Now
going
it's going to, they're going to reduce it to 10.
Right. Well, I'm not going to run that auction online only because we know that nothing drives up the price of an auction like human beings in the room bidding on shit.
That you just saw and touched.
Right.
You know?
And it's really tough to run an auction that is purely 100% online. Stuff's going to be devalued. It's going to sell for not very much money. So if they do decide to run the auctions, I'm not saying they're not going to. If they do going to run, they're going to run them online only, which of course is going to hurt the dollar value of the product, which, remember that all that product, they don't own that. The auction companies don't own that product. That's all dealers that want to have their stuff
But they have a
liquidated.
percentage in it.
And they get a
so-
percentage out of it. So realistically, unless I'm a dealership who's drawing my fucking death rattle right now, I'm probably not going to say, you know what, go ahead and run your auction next month. I want my bikes to be in it. I know nobody's going to be there to bid on them. And I'm willing to take it in a giant goddamn ass right now on whatever 12 bikes you happen to have down there in your warehouse. I don't know, man. I'm probably going to say, let me stick for another month and see if we get out of this thing. I think 6 months might be the right time to see a lot of really distressed inventory hitting the market. Now, when it comes to Harley Davidson, holy shit. We know about dealers that have been taking used bikes in on trade just to move the new iron out the door, and they have no intention of selling the bikes that they took in on trade, and those bikes are being warehoused. And they don't have a plan of attack for all of the 5 to 12-year-old inventory that's coming in so that they can move brand new inventory out the door. Not only brand new inventory, but non-current inventory that might be a not-so-fresh 2018 at a discount. So there's already a problem with this glut of lightly used Harley Davidsons in particular. And then you add to that what's going to happen right now, which is guys are going to be like, look, I gotta pay for my kids, insulin. The Harley means cash, and the Harley does mean cash. And I think that despite people lining up to buy guns and ammunition, I think that in a certain period of time, those guns are going to be worth cash, that ammunition is going to be worth cash, and those motorcycles are going to be worth cash. And people with cash.
Harley stock watch price?
Yeah. Oh, boy. Hurt me.
$16.22.
So that's, yeah.
Time to buy if you want to own a share of
If you want to own a share.
If you want to own a share
what's the 52-week high?
29.
41.40.
Oh, 41.40 for the.
Wow.
For the year, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 52 week high.
52-week high.
I'm
So
sorry.
that's
This is
about a third.
Right. That's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
It went all the way down.
Right. Oh, yeah, it's tanked out.
But that's like the whole market anyway, so it's not like they're.
And that's the thing is the last time they had a bump was when they bought their own stock back anyway. So,
But on the bright side,
Yeah.
if you buy Harley now,
Yeah.
your dividend is 8.3%.
exactly.
So you can buy it for a dividend.
Right.
If that's what you want to do, and it's $16, it's probably going to double in the next year. So I mean,
And I'm in a bad point because where I bought mine was around 20.
it'll go above that again.
So, 20's my safe point with Harley stock. So the
I still can't get the Clash out of my head because you said guns and ammunition.
it really, I mean, as far as we're concerned, when it comes to buying used motorcycles, anytime there's this kind of a thing happening, it's a great time to buy used motorcycles because the motorcycle is always the first thing to go. One, it's big, it's in the garage. When it comes to maintaining the security of your family, that motorcycle can sometimes be better than gold because you can find somebody with which to liquidate that inventory item pretty fucking quickly. It's only Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist listing away until somebody wants to buy the thing, right?
Food and water, guns,
Fuck, dude.
everything else.
That Honda 919 came in a week ago. We were talking about how just fresh and cool and awesome it was. It had shown up a week ago. So the word, coronavirus, the COVID-19 was in people's front of their brains. And today the guy came in and paid for it. Mm-hmm. So, that's a bike that's sold in the middle of this bizarre environment. Right. So that shit does still happen. So
well, the mindset, though, some people like me,
yeah,
I'm just like, I don't give a shit what I eat now.
Right.
I hate to say it. But I'm just going to eat what I want to eat because who knows what's going to be your last meal?
Well, and if you're a man over the age of 50, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
Step up, have fun.
Get it?
Right. So for the podcast listeners who don't know, about 2 weeks ago, a little less, about 10 days ago, my mom took a dive off her toilet. And my mom's not the stunt woman she used to be. She's a tough Sicilian, but she's not as tough as she used to be. And so this old Siciliano, she's grinding one out, and as we do sometimes, has a
Lean to the left?
Lean to the left and really push hard. Yeah. Apparently, lights go dark, and she ends up on the floor in one of the more illustrious trailer parks of the Madison Township. And the dogs are going bananas. She's yelling for my Aunt Charlotte, who lives with her now. And just things fall apart, and she spends about half an hour, 40 minutes on the floor. That's not a good way to live.
The trailer's off the blocks.
Yeah, the whole world shifted. She's not a big woman. Yeah, she's normal sized. And so she used to be a big woman, but she's normal sized now. But anywho, they do eventually paramedic her out, and she goes to the hospital, and it does turn out that, among other things, my mother's bones are like rice paper.
Ooh.
Okay? Because of years of cortisone and steroids and all the terrible things that we do to human beings rather than fix them. We just put the problem off. We put the problem down the road.
Hide the problem.
And so she's got bad osteoporosis. And, of course, she has fibromyalgia because she's a 70-some-year-old lady and all those things. And she's just, if you grab her wrist, it breaks, So she cracked her pelvis, and that's never a good thing. And on top of that, she's had both of her rotator cuffs done, and her shoulder is the wrong way now. Her ball and socket are obverse, like the ball's where the socket used to be and the socket's where the ball used to be. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Her hips have all been replaced before. She's got other people's hips. I think she's on her fourth hip. She could be a centipede at this point. We don't know. But not the movie Centipede. That's gross. But she takes a dive, and of course this means she's going to have to go into an assisted living facility. And if you guys aren't aware of what the fuck is happening in assisted living facilities right now, it is Lord of the goddamn Flies. It's weird. So first of all, grandparents check in, but they don't check out. And that's really what's happening at this moment. So if you can find a home that's willing to take them in, and my mom can't get home care at this stage. She needs 24-hour round-the-clock care. And we put her into the 5-star palace that Medicare will pay for, or her plan, and she's got the ARP extra plan and all this other stuff that Chris knows way too much about. And so he could sort this out like now. But anyway, we put her into this place, and you can't visit her.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
all the videos of people like on the outside of windows. Like,
Yeah, she's
"Hi,
on the
Grandma."
second floor. I'd have to go out the 26-foot ladder. Hey, Mom, how you doing? You pull a John Belushi right off
I'm
the
your
fucking
roommate now.
Right, exactly. I broke my hip so I could be in there with you, Mom. Took one for the
This is my
team.
roommate Betty. She's 57 or 67. You're like, hey, how you doing?
Hey, Betty, what's up?
Want a painkiller?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no, there's plenty of painkillers in there. So this is really a tough thing because to go visit your mom, you can't. It's legitimately you
Yeah,
can't.
you can't.
I mean, this is the first hard no that anybody's given you. Anybody in this whole thing.
Yep.
Is if your mom's in lockdown, she might as well be in solitary grandma confinement, right?
Did you see Mel Brooks did a thing with his son?
No.
Like Mel Brooks was inside the thing and his son is outside and he's like, I can't even visit my dad. It's his birthday. And, it's fucking Mel Brooks, which is
Right.
great. And, yeah, he's like, I can't go see him. And then they walk away and he's like, this is the way to do it. Sorry, whatever.
Wow. Well, I mean, this is it. And that a lot of the problems that happened in Seattle happened in a assisted living facility, and it just went out of control.
Yeah.
Right. And so what they're doing is to protect everybody inside. Those poor bastards are trapped. Right. They're erecting barricades around my mom's senior living facility.
Wow.
And she's in a bunk and the whole deal. So we had to break her out of jail to go get some surgery. So she could, in addition to all this shit, her kidneys have shut down too. So she had to get a fistula and anytime somebody tells me they're going to get a fistula,
Yeah, you're like, what?
I'm like, whoa, slow down, cowboy. Yeah, wow, yeah. And apparently it takes a couple of months to get a fistula. And I'm going to say that's
You gotta
called
pay extra for those.
That's called creeping up on it.
It is.
Because you don't just rush
You
into
got
a
to start
fistula.
small before you go to the fucking.
Exactly. Before you get a fistula. Exactly.
So,
And
this is the
go
whole
ahead.
bed thing. Did
Yeah.
you ever see the Saturday Night Live skit where they did the thing about old people dying on toilets and how like it's so like immoral, it makes you feel horrible.
Right.
So they had this company, it was a fake company, whatever, and so it's like you install it in your mom or dad's house or whatever,
Right.
and if it senses that they die on the toilet, it shoots them and has a thing, and it shoots them across the room onto the bed, and then a Bible drops from the ceiling, so it looks like they died. They died reading the Bible. But the best is like, so it's like this whole like beautiful thing about like your grandma or your mom can die in peace. Your dad can look, you know,
reputation's intact.
Yeah, you don't want him to come in and find him on the floor, or whatever. And it's like, I don't know what happened. But my mom was in the bed reading the Bible with no pants on and shit everywhere.
There was just a contrail of shit going all the way into the bedroom.
But they did it. They showed like these bodies like flying through the air, lying on
Holy
them.
shit.
It was so good.
It was crazy. So yeah, we busted her out to go in and get a fistula so she could go and get her fistula surgery started. And, you know, even that was creepy. So going in to get her, which, you know, you're using their shuttle, you're using their handicapped transportation system, which is, you know, a big airport shuttle bus, which up until just recently, I've always owned these. So this is the first time in my life I don't have a vehicle with a handicapped ramp. His doesn't have a ramp in it.
He's got a gurney, though.
He's got a gurney. We could take her out
The other
horizontal.
ways,
Yeah, we could take her out horizontal like a
swing
pro.
lift?
Thing goes south, call Steve.
Yeah. So his ambulance has got perfect for horizontal transport. Do you have a gurney?
No,
I saw a couple of
How
those.
did they not give you a gurney?
I saw a couple of those on Facebook Marketplace. We could end up with a good gurney.
Yeah.
I'm on a hearse, like I got hearse, so in the hearse community, there's always that kind of shit.
Yeah, you got
ancillaries.
Yeah. And you have to have a pimped out gurney too.
Yeah, of course. If I had one, it would have to have all kinds of Japanese shit on it. Wild dragons and shit.
with electric, so you could steer it.
Right, we'd have to combine wheelchair technology and gurney technology, and we would look like one of those things from like one of those weirdo 70s movies where the gurney takes off through San Francisco and the guy ends up like semi-driving it around. And you know it's just a stunt rig.
Or better than that, when you're really hammered somewhere at like an event, you just lay back in your gurney and drive yourself in and just like park back into your vehicle.
That's how I saw the Warped Tour in 01. And the Warped Tour in 01, I blew my leg up and I had tickets for the Warped Tour. So I had an airport shuttle bus, as I do.
Yeah.
So I drove myself in, and then I had a Rascal that we got so I could go to the Buffalo Scooter Rally. So I jumped on the Rascal, opened up and we were parked right in the handicap. And I drove my ass right out and had all my punk rock friends with me, all the the idiot squad. And we all pile out of this airport shuttle bus, parked in the handicap spot, of course. Yeah, and then I've got this. So getting in, everyone's like, oh. Well, we can put you on stage, like, on the side of the stage. Because it's the Warped Tour. We don't want to put you in the fucking pit.
Yeah, right.
Front row equals the pit if you've ever been to a Warped Tour or that kind of an event.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, well, that sounds good. So I was like, well, these people are my handlers. And so we all got there, and Renee and Merritt were taking turns standing on the back of my Rascal because they had a perfect view. And I love it because I had blown my leg up, so my leg was elevated, which is
you're
great.
Sitting, you're relaxed.
I got cup holders and shit. If you ever have to go to punk rock bowling or the Warped Tour or anything, I strongly recommend a Rascal scooter.
Hurt yourself.
Take your time, and it's very punk rock to take advantage of those things.
Of course.
Yeah.
Also, if you're going to Blossom, ride your motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
Because they're like, motorcycle parking. It's right next to the entrance of the
literally
park.
right next to the snack machine.
Yeah.
It's right next to the concessions. Yeah.
I never felt so old but so exhilarated. Me and Amy went inside. I think it was, I don't know. It was like a thing. I went to see Green Day or something. It was like one of those things where you're like, okay, I'll go. Whatever, right? And so
I'm sorry, Green Day is considered punk rock light for you.
Yeah. I mean,
exactly.
Just,
I get it. No, but I'm trying to color that up for our customers, our listeners.
Well, maybe it was Barry Manilow.
It could have been, right? But at the end of the day, I'm sitting there, and it's
maybe it was Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow. But it was like the third or fourth encore.
Didn't want to.
Third or fourth encore, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I don't need to hear anymore. My wife's like, I'm ready. Right. So we walked 10 feet, got on my bike, and we left, and we were like 3 or 4 miles, all through all the area where traffic usually is. And I was on 8 at a light, and it was 10:30, and I'm like, holy shit. We're out of there.
You're gone.
10:30, and I'm like, I've never felt so proud, but also so old at the same time.
So there is a secret weapon. My wife and I, years ago, my wife loves the Foo Fighters on a genetic level. Yeah, my wife loves the Foo Fighters. And so I was like, okay, well, we're going to go. So we get really good tickets and the whole deal. But I despise, and so our festival, for people who are listening, is called, it's Blossom Music Center. And yeah, the name is more Camaro than Elton John's fanny pack, but I digress. It's where many, many good shows have happened. And also Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow, which...
And the first Lollapalooza and all that stuff.
Lollapalooza and the
all
orchestra.
The country bands.
All the country. I saw Waylon Jennings there.
Yep. And Willie Nelson a couple years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
I don't remember it, but I was at it.
But you were there, goddammit.
That's right.
And so were the rest of you.
And George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars.
P-Funk.
Yeah, fuck
yes, you're absolutely right. So Blossom is the deal. But the problem with Blossom is the parking is basically just a 27-acre field, right? A 200-acre field,
But there's
realistically.
people standing there going, fuck you.
Right.
And that happens,
And
too.
that is it. So we had parked down in the metro parks, and we had taken 2 electric bicycles.
Perfect.
So we had 2 cutting-edge electric bicycles. We loaded them with all of our picnic provisions, because this crazy place will still let you bring shit in.
For some shows.
For some shows.
Right.
And we go in with the blankets and the whole deal. We roll in on the electrics, and we are passing all of these idiots, like 20,000 cars. We park at the gate ticket.
Like you're like where nobody wants to park.
Yeah, we checked.
Like,
we chained the bikes up, and we're like, "Are we allowed to do this?" And we're like, "Okay, we're doing this." We go in. We enjoy the show. Fantastic. The show ends, and people leave an hour early of the
It's
show
insane.
just to get their cars out.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Well, let's even go further than that. You have a place that holds, 25,000 some people?
Yeah, right on.
And there's 2 roads to get in and out of the entire thing.
Of the entire thing.
And each of those roads, before you can branch off, are at least 7 miles long.
And the roads are 2 lanes.
2 lanes.
Eastbound and westbound.
Yeah. So like when that lets out,
Yeah.
if you don't do any of this, you're in traffic for at least 4 hours
easily.
at least.
4 or 5 hours,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
4 or
sure.
5 days, actually.
It could be. Right.
The thing I remember most
They have to
about
bring
Blossom,
people gas.
being stuck in that
Yeah.
Yeah.
menagerie.
Yeah.
I had a 53 Chevy.
Jesus Christ.
And so, those things overheat.
I was going to say,
it's like,
you're pushing it?
They overheat
yeah, no,
and
they
under
over-
gas.
Yeah, because they vapor lock.
Right.
But anyway, I'm just sitting there
Yeah.
going along, and some guy in a 57 pulls in right next to me, and he looks at me and he says, 53, wish you were 57. That's my favorite memory.
Wish you were 57.
Take his temperature.
God damn it.
Elbow.
Get his,
Elbow.
I
get
did
his
it.
temperature. Like they said, if it's a phlegmy sneeze or if it's a phlegmy cough, you're okay.
You're
if
okay.
it's a dry
It's
cough,
dry.
right. And Geraldo Rivera has said that if you can hold your breath for 10 seconds, you don't have COVID.
I was
Well, actually, John Oliver said that Geraldo should try to hold his breath for 1 minute and 10 seconds.
He said, until we let you know to breathe.
Yeah.
And he still hasn't let him know. Yeah.
I was going to bed the other night and took a big hit in my bowl, and I started coughing because I took a big hit.
Yeah.
My wife's like, "Are you okay? Are you
In
dying?"
the other room. From the plastic around his bed. In the hermetically sealed.
What did you bring home to our house?
Right. Yeah. Dude, if you're not coughing,
Yeah.
it's not working. No. Yeah. That's just it's the way it works. Yeah. Anytime I'm around people who smoke a lot of weed,
Yeah.
and I don't smoke a lot of weed, but I collect a lot of weed.
Right.
So, I have a collection, but I'm not a super user. So when I get around somebody who's a super user, and they're like, here, enjoy this. And I'm like, oh, volcano, don't mind if I do. And then I'm like, oh, you got to be cool, dude. You got to be cool. You got to be cool. Don't cough. Do not appear to be a fucking amateur. Okay, great. I'll cough tomorrow. I'll just hold it. Yeah, and that's what it is. And it really, and that's the time when you're like, no,
Those
go ahead and
one-hitters are
cough.
killers, though. I hate
Yeah.
one-hitters. So those things like burn your lungs like
Yeah,
crazy.
because you have no chamber effect. You're literally getting at the point of detonation into your
Right.
breathing hole.
That's why I like apples the best.
Exactly. Apples, the
I'm
old
going to be
school.
50 in a couple of weeks. If there's no water involved, I'm
If
not
there's no
doing it
water,
right.
we need to have water as
Yeah.
a transmitting
Yeah,
agent.
yeah, yeah,
So I totally agree.
Yeah.
I don't hate that idea at all. So in what way? Because we are going to have an actual podcast tonight. We're not going to we're not going to be like some bullshit like this is going to be our Corona cast. So it's going to be 36
Well,
minutes.
Here, how about this? The
Yeah.
last thing with Corona.
Yeah.
What they're saying is
Yeah.
to distance yourself.
Right.
Shield your face.
Yep.
Keep your breath
It's
and other
motorcycle.
things
Yeah.
away from other people.
Absolutely.
What's the best thing that you can possibly do?
Latex
Drink
porn.
alcohol.
Besides latex porn.
Latex porn. Yeah, exactly.
Go out and ride. This is a great time for people to go out and
Absolutely.
ride.
Except for the fact that it rained 4 inches in the last day.
Well, yeah, but okay. Besides that, go ride your dirt bikes, go ride your quads, get on your bike.
We have had shit weather in Cleveland, so the weather has been unreliable. Today, the sun came out for 11 and a half minutes and then fucked us. Like it was like 11 and a half minutes of sunshine, and then it rained down in buckets, and basically just screwed all our plans up.
What Steve is saying is go out in the rain and the cold and get pneumonia on your own terms, not because of Corona.
Get regular old pneumonia.
That pneumonia's tougher
None of this fancy new Chinese pneumonia.
But here's the thing. So my wife took my daughter because she had a tiny cough and a small fever, so she took her down to get tested. And they were in line for she thought it was going to be an hour, and it took like 7 hours to,
Oh, yeah.
So I got off work, and she's like, "Can you please bring us food? We're still in line." So I was like, okay. So I jumped on.
Did you go to get tested at Cedar Point?
No, it was
down in line with a bunch of people that are sick, hacking up their fucking lungs with COVID.
No. They're in cars. You're in cars.
Okay.
This is a drive-through.
Which one did she go to?
Down on 55th and Carnegie. There was the thing at the Cleveland Clinic or whatever's down there. UH maybe or whatever. I don't know. It was the one. It was on 55th and Carnegie's where the parking lots were, and they had to all go through the line of parking lots, whatever. But I rode down on the scooter with my helmet, all my gear, and I got down there, and the cops were stopping everybody. But since I had the helmet, and I looked like the thing, he was just like, "Yeah, go ahead." So I parked. I took her to food, got out of there. Everybody's looking at me like, "I want food." I'm like, "Fuck you, it's for my wife," and I gave it to her and fucking scooted out. Yeah, but it was great. It was the best thing. It's like I was in a helmet, I had my shield on, didn't worry about anything.
I rode down to Brick and Barrel today and got a couple growlers.
There you go. That works.
We gotta do the disclaimer that helmets are not approved for
they're
filtering.
not N95. No, we don't have N95 filters in our fucking helmets.
No, but the thing is, they're saying that you have to get the water droplets or something like that. I mean, if it's a full face helmet, it's gonna.
I'll go get my face. I'll show you what I wear.
Go get your rig. Go get the rig you normally operate with. All right, I'm gonna let you guys ice your own glasses, and then I'll come at it with this.
Yeah, just pour it up there.
Yep. It's a very careful, measured pour.
So again, and so you're not on mic, but so what is this rum? So this
I'm on
rum.
mic enough.
Okay, here comes your mic.
Just in the general world, I'm on
There
mic,
you go. Now you're on it.
Yeah. So this is so you guys are looking for. It's at the bottom shelf. This is one of the only times in the liquor store where going to the bottom shelf is not going to fuck you over. It's just the way that Cruzan does marketing, or whether our Ohio Department of Liquor Control does it. It tends to be that this product is usually, you can kick it with your foot. So if you go into the rums aisle, the sexy rums aisle, and you're in the sexy rums aisle, look for this Blackstrap rum. And now this particular one, this is the Cruzan Estate Diamond Blackstrap rum. And Blackstrap is going to give you, you said it's a note of maple syrup.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it's actually molasses.
Okay,
So it's molasses. That's what you're getting.
Okay.
And the molasses is what kind of gives it a little bit of a burnt note to it. And let's see, we're all adults. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll cowboy this one up a little bit. Steve is ready. Got those pink filters, the fashionable HEPA pink.
Oh, it doesn't really fit around your glasses though.
No, I gotta wear my other glasses, but.
And are you facial hair appropriate for that?
Right.
They were very shitty about us.
Take me to your leader
with the facial hair. Yeah,
I'm gonna finish the podcast like this.
That's fine.
Yeah, I can't hear shit. Barely has a voice diaphragm in that thing.
I so want to wear that to Whole Food Zone, just walk around and fuck with people.
Well, sure, why not?
It's so fun.
It is decontaminated though. But I will move it someplace else.
So, Steve, how long do those filtered things last?
I don't know. They're a heap of filters. So I guess when it starts feeling harder to breathe.
When it's hard to breathe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that you can rock it.
then you know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you turn blue.
You ready?
When you start turning blue.
Re-ice yourself?
No, I'm good.
You're not going to add more ice? All right.
No, it's good.
All right.
For the listeners at home, Phil is being the cocktail king right now.
I'm just pouring, baby.
Cocktail waitress.
Yeah.
All I did was put two ingredients together and fucking shake and pour. There's really no skill to this at all. If you want to go see a proper bartender, go to Porco Lounge and Tiki. Steve, you screwed me on that ice cube. We need to clean up in aisle 7. There was never in aisle 7. All right.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh. Might have to mix up another one.
These are strong. These are very good for us.
Thank
Good
you.
news is we have plenty of the mix.
It sucks wearing that rig all day long.
I'm sure it does.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Under what circumstances do you normally have to wear that? Like just
It just depends on the location in the your location in the plant.
You know what? I know where you work, Steve, and I'll tell you that anywhere in your place of business where you'd have to wear that, there wouldn't need to be a sign to tell you to wear it.
Oh. Thank you, sir.
Because where he works is just a parade of bad smells. Like, there is not a single place where I feel like I could be in Steve's work and be like, okay, this is fine.
does that help with the smell though, or does it just sort of?
Well, it filters
Well,
the poo
also,
out.
though, how long?
Well, that is an organic filter in too, so it takes all the organics out.
Gotcha.
So let me ask you this: so, like, if you go to a horse farm or something like that, right? When you first show up, you're like, "Holy fuck!" But like after an hour,
It doesn't smell like anything to me.
yeah, it just disappears and becomes part of your thing.
I delivered a bike to one of our customers, and I didn't realize it, but he lives directly behind the Lakeshore Water Treatment Plant in North Euclid, like right on the lake,
Yeah,
like over at 200th Street.
yeah, that's where I used to work.
Right.
I was
So-
had a maintenance there.
So his house is the first house to the left of that, and some damn fool built like a proper, modern, decent, nice house on a street that, like, the second they built the wastewater treatment plant there, the street lost 100% of its value.
Wow.
And the smell crawled into my brain. Like, I couldn't possibly live there.
Does this smell weird to you?
Well, I had
Just the lack of poop.
Yeah.
Just
no, but somebody said I read somewhere it's not what you smell, it's what you don't smell that actually. There's some weird thing about it. That's why you get used to
So the
smell.
poo displaces.
No, I'm sorry. It's a change. It's a change.
It's a
When you
change
get
in
to
smell.
something,
It's accepted. So this is a funny story.
yeah.
I used to work briefly at a composting facility.
Okay.
And so they would have they had a scrubbing system, so that the neighbors wouldn't smell the compost because you couldn't be in the reactor because the ammonia was so high you would die. You would literally die in there without wearing a respirator. So you had to wear a respirator in there to filter out the ammonia, or you would die. So they had the scrubbing system with chlorine and everything, and then they would take samples of the air coming out of the scrubber system, and they would have various people in the plant smell like different dilutions of the air coming out of the plant. So I could smell down to 1/100000th of a part. And so they disqualified me because my smell was so good that my sense of smell is so good.
Your shit sniffer is amazing.
You're in the wrong business.
you should be a sommelier or something where you're smelling like the intricate parts of wine or something, and meanwhile you're stuck smelling poo.
No, I mean, I could smell, seriously, I could smell from across the room somebody who was drinking.
Really?
Huh.
I mean, if somebody's standing, seriously, if somebody was standing over by that wall,
Yeah.
I could smell, and it just takes when enough wafts over to me, or if they walk, whatever, I could smell that they were drinking. I could smell.
Oh, so you
alcohol.
have to love old ladies with their like floral perfume or something.
And certain perfumes, like the musk stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be big. It's not so big anymore. Like they used to wear it, like in the 80s.
like Drakkar and all that stuff.
I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
but it triggers. I have reactive airway,
Yeah.
and I would have asthma up to. It would suddenly I wouldn't be able to breathe. It was like it locked my entire lungs up, and I thought I was going to die.
You're like, he's wearing high karate. You remember that shit from the fuck?
Well, it's a good thing that's out of fashion.
But the commercials.
Every now and then, though, you're going to a bar and some bimbo like that takes what do they call that? Like a horror bath or something.
Yeah.
Like they take a horror bath and just spritz some stuff on to try to cover up their gymnastics, or
You mean a French shower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve.
So anyway, they walk into they'll walk in
douche
behind me,
français?
Yeah.
or they'll come up next to me to get a beer,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I can't breathe. Like my lungs stop working because I can't breathe because of that musky perfume they wear. And my wife's like, "You got to move." Like she knows the exact smell, and she'll be like, "You got to move now," because you're going to go to the hospital.
Speaking of smells, Dan on YouTube, or not YouTube, on Facebook, our own lovely Dan Kromke posted links to something I haven't thought of in years,
and
the High Karate commercials.
Yes,
from back.
The High Karate commercials are fantastic,
fucking amazing, man.
It's a whole series of amazing.
Dude, they had the High Karate ones are like. The High Karate, for you, we probably have no idea what fucking High Karate is, was like this really popular thing in the late 70s, where even when I was 8, I remember everybody wearing it. It was an aftershave, right? It had some specific smell. But their commercials, the dude was like, use High Karate at your own warning. Women are, and like, so they have this girl with these boobs everywhere, and this guy, this like half balding dude that looks like fucking Danny DeVito sprays it on him, and this girl's like a fucking tiger trying to eat prey through a store, knocking shit over and chasing them and stuff.
Can't get to him quick enough.
So it's like an Axe commercial from the 70s.
Yeah, exactly. High Karate would be Axe body spray now.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Well, and Axe to me is the same thing, same bad karma.
What I can say, I'm looking at the results of our Patreon. Renee's requests for men to let her know their sizes.
We're not a small group.
That we have a lot of double and triple extra large listeners.
Oh,
just because they're tall.
I mean, clearly,
and muscular,
girthy. A lot of girthy.
Join the club.
Join the fucking club. Amen, brother. So maybe this COVID virus downtime would be a decent time to maybe do a little rowing in your basement. I don't know. Something like that. Right? Maybe some push-ups. It wouldn't be the worst idea.
Invent some new taillights or blinkers or something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Take this opportunity. I know a lot of people are cleaning their house and stuff.
Wiggle your mic.
Wiggle my mic? Okay.
There it is.
Wiggle it just a little bit. I know a lot of people are taking this time to clean their houses and stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, I have kind of been that. I've been that guy for this past couple of weeks where I was just like, all right, well, so if shit really does hit the fan, and I really do need to figure out some sort of an exit strategy, what's going to be the name of the game? And is it going to be the Toyota Tundra with 2 motorcycles in the back of it? Something like a KLR 650 because it's easy to get parts for. And then something like a Zero because it is the post-apocalyptic world and you do want to have some street cred. Or what? But
I think the High Ace with a Zero with 4 solar panels on the roof.
Yeah, the fact that you've got the High Ace is truly Mr. Unstoppable.
Yeah, that thing rules.
Because you can steal diesel from anything.
$20,000 right now.
Yeah, anything on the planet, or 20,000 rolls of Charmin.
Yes.
Think of all the. Can you use biodiesel? You can use biodiesel in it, right?
You better
Absolutely.
have like 10 filters.
Yeah, you're going to run 10 filters. But if he had to, he could.
Yeah.
It's easier though for him to just steal it from everything.
Right.
So
every machine laying on the side
everything
of the road,
in the world
Or you
is
could
his
run vegetable
gas station.
oil. You go to Costco and buy gallons of vegetable oil.
It'll still work.
Well, you just walk in because there would be no buying Costco. You're fucking killing people and running around.
It is a very funny thing that when people think about like, oh well, if things really go to shit, I'll just be able to get gasoline wherever I want. Mm-hmm. No, everybody will be looking for gasoline.
Right.
It's the true fetishists that will be looking for diesel.
That's why every zombie show has 1,000 cars immobilized and one car moving.
Right.
That's because they've already siphoned all the gas. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take the Bill Murray approach from fucking Zombieland and just do makeup.
Pretend to be a zombie. Join the ranks.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, join the ranks, become a zombie. Right. Become one of them.
Right.
I feel like they would be able to tell.
A COVIDian? I don't know. Would a COVIDian be able to tell? What does a COVIDian zombie look like?
I have lens heaters for my cameras.
Their lungs are shit.
That I can put around my neck to cause this to have 104 temperature. Just fucking roll like that, dude.
Right. Just roll right with them. Be like, I got a fever too.
Yeah. Hey.
So I think we should just all go to the wastewater plant.
Oh,
nobody's going there.
Nobody's going there.
I'm saying it's fenced in.
Right. The smell will keep anybody away.
You have 2 foot thick concrete walls.
Right.
You have sniper positions.
Nobody wants to break in to steal the poo. It's the last place anybody would think to go.
2,000 gallons of diesel.
Absolutely.
You have trucks.
Dude, you're giving away all your secrets right now.
Well, I'm just saying, who's going to go
Honestly,
there?
and I still wouldn't fucking go.
No, that's true.
Honestly, I still wouldn't go. You know why? Because I got to breathe. That's it.
No, there won't be any
gotta
shit
breathe.
coming in because everybody's dead.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, there won't be any shit coming in.
Now, I got to say, 8 years ago when we had this exact same conversation during a podcast,
Yes.
Steve was going to go out in the middle of Lake Erie on his sailboat
I don't have it anymore.
and live. He was going to.
It wasn't a bad idea because we
jig
haven't
for
found the
fish.
swimming zombies yet.
And he was going to purify his own water,
Right?
live on fish,
Right?
and fuck mermaids or something like that. I don't know.
Well, just think what you can do. You can stack if you shut down the.
Got to be
flow,
politically correct.
So just shut it down. Who cares? Because
Right.
no one's going to be shitting.
Right.
Stack the tanks with perch.
Oh, you don't want to fish
This perch tastes a little nutty.
Hey, after 4 days of starving, you need a fucking
A shit perch.
asshole off a skunk.
shit.
So
But there's a little hiccup in there where you say, stock it with perch.
Right. Yeah, stock it
Hello?
with perch.
Ed's Stocking Company?
no, you can just
Come
go
on
out to the
over.
lake and just start throwing fish
Yeah,
in there.
you just need 2 male ones and 1 really hot female fish, and you're set.
Make all the fish you need.
You'd start out
It was
with
the Noah's
tilapia.
Ark principle. He started with 2 perch.
I already
And 8
have.
years later,
8 years later,
Just make sure she's super hot, dude. That's all you got to
We already
do.
have an aquaponic system with tilapia.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
At the facility? At your joint? My God.
What do they do?
Never
Are
eaten
they doing
tilapia
something?
ever
Oh, it's
again.
mine.
Oh, it's his.
I thought they were part of the process.
No,
Like
but
they
I mean,
take the water.
These
breed so
straight up
fast.
turning.
In 9 months, you can get. In 9 months,
Yeah.
you get tilapia, 1 pound fillet tilapia. So
Wow.
if you threw it in a tank like a 70,000 gallon
Right.
tank, you could have 50,000 pounds of fish.
Oh, my God. That's
Wow.
fantastic.
I mean, it's
that
not
is
the best
fantastic.
fish to eat, and it tastes like shit. But
but it's
It
protein.
tastes like shit.
Well, yours do.
They're not supposed to, but it turns out.
Good source of protein.
I'm just saying.
So hey,
As Bear Grylls would
since not to get back on the virus, but how's our boy out in Portland doing?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked.
All right.
So, not many people know that last week's podcast ended with a bit of a migration.
Yeah.
So, we sally forth and off we fucked.
Yes, we did.
And we ventured out and we did the dumbest thing we could do going
All right.
into a lockdown,
Right.
which was like, fuck it, to the Winchester, right? We're going to go to the Winchester until it all blows over. And we did. And we went to Porco.
Yep.
And we went to Porco because rules
Yeah.
don't mean anything to people who are on a quest for cocktails.
Yeah.
So that was the day before the lockdown.
It was a day before,
But it was hinted that it was happening. But we
was
also had a
perfect timing.
gallon of painkiller.
I think it was perfect timing.
Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure that's how I got my COVID-19.
Yeah.
Because, but I also think I got chlamydia in there too because the crowd was a little weird that night.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Especially those dudes from Canada.
Oh, the Canadians.
The Canadians,
You guys, do you have any MDMA?
these guys wanted drugs so bad.
They wanted to
And I was
party, man.
wait,
And they looked at Hoffert and they said, "There's our mark."
this guy clearly has got Molly.
Yeah.
Because when I think I need Molly, I think Hoffert.
And then,
clearly.
They look for a guy who's wearing a hat like that.
They look for a guy who's wearing snowflakes on his head.
and then Meckelfresh fucks off. I'm like, where did John go? And I find him, and he's in a party of all 21-year-olds that just turned 21.
Yep. Yeah.
And they're fucking raging, and he's like part of the gang. He's
I
like,
like
"Oh,
to call that the black chick table.
Yeah.
Like he was at a table with 3 black chicks. One of them had just turned 21.
Yep.
The other one's unknown.
But here's the thing.
But John knew them all by name.
All by name, and
Right.
they loved him.
And they loved him,
And all
yeah.
I did was walk up to the
Right.
table, and I was like, what's up? And they're like, we don't like you.
No, we don't like you at all. Fuck off, Duck Dynasty.
Right.
We're talking to your.
Yeah. This
We're talking to this guy, the clean shaven guy over here.
Yeah,
right,
it was
who works for the city. Yeah, he said that, and they were like,
it was you work for the city? Oh, you got a
you work
job.
for the
All right,
city.
yeah.
Oh, you work for the city. All right, so
And that being said,
yeah.
Porco, the one thing that I don't like about Porco, which is this
Bite
is
your tongue, young
No,
man.
there's only one thing,
Yeah.
and that their stools have a really fucked up bottom rung, and if you're not careful, your foot gets stuck and you fall
You
off the
crashed
goddamn.
so fucking hard,
And I wasn't
and you were
drunk
not
at
even
that-
drunk. We were
No,
only there for
no,
about a half an
yeah,
hour.
no.
I thought you broke your hip.
No, I basically redid. It's fucking not good,
I've
man.
seen.
Yeah,
I've
you went
seen.
down like a load of shit.
You
that
did.
night.
I
Holy
swear to
cow.
God, I thought you were a rabbit in a snare,
And
man.
the whole thing, I was like, oh god, everybody's gonna think I'm hammered, and I was just fucking whatever. But it was stuck. I was stuck to the fucking thing, and it sucked.
Hey, we're believing you.
Yeah, well, no, we're gonna roll with that.
We're gonna run with that. I think that's safe.
You know, it wasn't even Lido Lounge, and you were stuck.
No, exactly.
Now,
All right.
Oh.
that's the test to see if this shit's real. If Lido Lounge, Pinky's, and fucking all those other places closed during this shit is
They are.
legit,
I mean, well,
dude.
no, I drove by today. I was on Brook Park going to my warehouse, and there was one car in front. And I'm pretty sure it was just housekeeping.
Wow.
Yeah, because there it says no clubs.
But they never follow rules. I mean,
That's a good point.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Did you see the guy on the news that it was like Malarkey's or something like that, and he
Okay.
refused to close?
Oh,
And he was
really?
like, I have to make a living.
Strongsville?
No, it was in Menor, up by where I
really?
work.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
It was Irish. It was like the outside of the bar is painted orange, white, and green, and the whole.
I know the bar.
Yeah.
That's actually the
Lucky's-
Shamrock.
Shamrock.
And it's on Route 20, and it's a punch palace. We used to call it like going to the Rock. We used to break up fights in there all the goddamn
that's
time.
all it is.
Shamrock.
It's yeah, right.
Our shop in Mentor was 25 feet to the right of that, just past the tarot card reader. We were in the next building.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That was where Emmy got her training.
Okay.
Was
Well,
at the Rock.
That
like
yeah,
next
all
to
right.
the Rock. Yeah.
Well, he refused to close, and
He would.
Who's not Carl Monday, but the other guy with the
the
curly
stick
hair?
reporter? I have no idea. Right. Yeah.
He's been around. His wife is Peggy Gallig, and his name's something Gallig,
cares?
whatever.
Jim Gaffigan?
Yeah.
No.
But he rolled into this guy's bar like 3
Yeah.
times. He's like, I'm just trying to make a fucking living. And he's blah, whatever. And at the end, he's like, do you want to get punched in the face? And he's like, and that's where we ended this interview.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it was good. So, yeah.
So, Rand.
yes, Rand.
Rand.
Oh, wait, and that was
Again. So here we are enjoying our
Yeah, last podcast.
Right,
So
our
1 week ago.
Last podcast,
Right.
1 week ago today. We're enjoying Porco podcast cocktails.
Post-podcast, Porco, Painkillers.
Painkillers. Yes, good job.
Post-podcast, Porco,
Porco Painkillers.
Yes.
Well done,
Thank
Sleepy.
you. Thank
Post podcast pre-Porco painkillers.
Well,
Yes,
that
we did
happened
have
too.
yeah, we did. We
So they
had,
both-
We
there's
had
both.
Right. Yeah,
We were
that's
double
right. We had
fisting.
pre-podcast Porco
Porco
painkillers.
and post podcast.
Avoid alliteration.
It's easy for you to
Always.
say.
Can't say it.
So Rand managed to call us back, but he called us back too late. We were no longer on mic.
Right.
So we were no longer on mic, and so he called back too late. And basically, what I did was I started just grabbing the phone and handing it because
You gave it to Stefan at
the
one
bat
point, right?
phone. The bat
Yeah,
phone.
Stefan even talked to him.
So the bat phone is a Google Voice account, and I've
Right.
got it going into my phone. And I gave it to everybody. Everybody got a chance to talk to Rand,
Yep.
right?
And I think Cam had a long conversation with him.
Cam, I know,
Yeah.
right, Cam, right? It says Rand here did my taxes tonight and could not have a drink. Could not have a drink. The last show was an incredible show that makes me feel not so bad about the stupid shit I say all the time. In contrast, in comparison. So get this, my drive to work is about 30 minutes. So I get your podcast on anywhere between Monday through Wednesday, and I listen to it 30 minutes at a time, which is the recommended dosage.
right.
We've done testing. It is the recommended
The
dosage.
doctor
It'll
recommended.
cause a brain bleed. if
Oh,
you
over
listen to
45 minutes, the rats went homosexual and killed each other. It was weird.
They
Yeah.
fucking battled with Alex Jones's gay frogs.
They
It was
did.
Fucking
that
crazy.
was it. That was exactly all it
it. I
was.
got a fistula in 30 seconds.
But it was a rat fistula, so it was
Yeah.
really cute. Little pink knuckles.
Yeah.
It was great. So anyway, do you know how weird it is driving to and from work and hearing my continental brothers saying, "Call Rand, call Rand, call Rand"? I love it, but it's thinking hard for the right words. Crushes my fraternal heart while my simultaneously lifts my spirits. That's a pretty good definition of it, right?
Yeah.
30-minute chunks. So last Friday, you guys called. I just arrived home after trying to hit a few different grocery stores and finding TP, rice and beans. Good luck.
You're going to need the TP with the rice and the beans.
Way to test the system. Yeah, you're supposed to bind yourself up.
Right.
Eat cheese, man. Eat cheese. Right. That's the way to do it. Didn't find any of those, so I settled on a large bottle of wine.
Nice.
Rand,
Yes, sir.
An excellent source of protein.
excellent source of protein. Couldn't find TP. Couldn't find rice and beans. large bottle of wine.
He could have said box.
Now, in his defense, I was in Target last night getting some, pants for the mom, and she needs, clothing and whatnot, being in the home. And I was shocked at Target that they had like 100 bottles of the weirdest wine I've ever seen, but it was $5 ein bottle. Go figure. For $5, how do you lose?
Yeah, right. You can't.
Right, exactly. Can't miss.
You know what else is funny? All these people were fighting over toilet paper, like at like Walmart. They're killing each other. I walked into Home Depot and there was like 37,000
skids of it.
Skids.
Yeah, skids of it.
Nobody thinks that Home Depot.
Farm and Fleet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Tractor Supply Company. Go there. Do you know why? Country knows how to shit. Big country knows how to shit.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those rolls are just a little wider.
Yeah.
Because America. That's it.
But they're 300 grit.
They're 300 grit. Rough and tough and don't take shit off of nobody.
You know what, though? I don't have to have anything bleached or shaved because of that, so I'm doing all right.
Now, wait a minute. If they don't take shit off of nobody, doesn't that defeat
You're okay. You're a child. You're a child.
Might be a double
so we'll
negative.
say it again. It's a John Wayne joke. John Wayne was an actor whose name was Marion. And he was a famous country actor. Did a lot of westerns. And he used to say, I'm rough and I'm tough and I don't take shit off of nobody.
Gotcha.
And that was the deal. And so it was John Wayne toilet paper. Was rough and tough and didn't take shit off of nobody. Anyway. So last Friday, large bottle of wine. I was sitting next to my sweet Terry eating dinner and you guys called. I'd been home for 30 minutes and I just couldn't do it. As I like to say, well played.
Yeah, well played.
Well played. You know what?
Saved your marriage.
Discretion is the better part of valor. Do you know the one person who's going to make a lot of money in this fucking shutdown? Divorce lawyers.
Right, yeah.
Divorce lawyers are going to make a lot of fucking money. But I called in. I don't remember a whole lot except that I talked to Grumpy and Cam.
Grumpy? I told him I was not Grumpy Sewer Guy.
You've become grumpy. No fucking kidding. You have become grumpy. To the 10,000 people
Why
who
am I
listen
so
to our
grumpy?
show, you have become grumpy.
I don't know. You're actually a pleasant dude, to be honest with you.
Usually he's really, really pleasant.
Really pleasant guy.
Right, exactly. Okay, I wish I could remember what we talked about.
Me too.
Renee asked me if I would like a coffee mug or a pint glass today. Man, I'm totally going to go all office space on my office with the ClevelandMoto mug.
Nice.
So he's getting a ClevelandMoto mug. I'm Lumberg, but way more productive. I don't watch the show, so I don't get the reference, but I'm sure during the COVID, I'll have a chance to catch up on British and American offices.
Yep.
That's my goal. Can't wait. That mug is going to be ClevelandMoto. Can't wait. Thanks for the swag. Still got that 919?
Oh,
no. Too soon.
Too soon.
Is it odd that I'm torn between a TW200 and a sweet 919?
No. TW200s are fucking great.
No, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think, and in fact, I think the answer of that is both.
I think those are the two best motorcycles.
Well, again.
And there are two sides of the whole spectrum.
Yep.
The TW200 can do everything slow and dirty and gross and sandy and snowy and everything else and travel.
And the 919 makes you fear life a little bit.
Yeah.
And it'll do the wheelies. And it'll do the stoppies. And it'll do all the fun shit.
And it sounds good.
It does sound good.
I mean,
and you know what? I used to own one.
Let's put it this way. From what we've heard from Rand and how he feels with this whole relationship and stuff going, he might need the 919 more.
Did we ever... What does Rand ride?
BMW.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
F650 or something. Yeah, right.
I thought it was an older GS something.
There's a picture of it in here. If I scroll back far enough, it's red. It might be a GS. I don't know. It looks.
Yeah, I thought it was an older GS because it was his dream bike and he bought it.
I think you're right. Yeah, you're right. Right. This is a big block. Oh yeah, that's a freaking oil head, dude. Yeah, it's a big red GS. Yeah, right on. That's
like
what Rand's got.
1100 or 1150.
Yeah, in that range. And then there's it looks like there's a Rebel in the garage next to it for the missus.
His wife's. Yeah,
for the missus.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he's got giant boxes on the back of the BMW. Big, outrageously big boxes.
As you do.
Big fucking boxes. Big, huge
BFBs.
fucking boxes. Yeah, big boxes.
Well, they come in handy. When me and Chris went, I didn't even take my two side boxes, and I was able to get 36 beers. If I'd have brought the other ones, I could have brought fucking 72 beers.
No, it's impossible amount of beer.
Yeah.
Okay, then we go. He says, that high ace is tickling the hairs on my nuts as well.
Hell yeah.
Well, man, all you guys were born on the wrong side of the union. Well,
he was born on the wrong side.
right.
Nah, technically we're all on the same side of the union, but right.
On the Mississippi.
Right. I
Should
can't
be.
stop thinking about flying out to Cleveland and buying that 919. We're going into a recession. There's some sort of bug going around, and I should probably be saving my cash. But it keeps going back and forth in my mind. I just had an epiphany. Much less fun. But does the Hornet fit in the back of the High Ace? Yes, but you'll have to murder Steve to get the High Ace, because Steve is not giving up the High Ace.
And there's no 919.
Well,
And there's no.
And the 919 has been sold. So the best we can do is a lightly fuckered CT110 that you can buy from Oscar, and maybe stuff it in the back of the, don't call it a Previa, it's an Estima.
25 grand, and Steve will find a 911, give you the van and a mustache with titties.
Oh my God. Here we go. Mind blown. Stop. Disregard. Me being stupid. Getting a little chubby just thinking about it, though. I take it all back. Our relationship is based on bullshit and booze. Yes, it is, Rand. Well played, sir.
Yeah, we don't want to know about your chubby, dude.
Hey, I was absolutely mesmerized by some quotes from Winston Churchill today. This should be good.
Yes, sir.
Boy.
Because at 0100 in the morning, quotes from Winston Churchill,
He's going deep. That's a deep dive.
I read some of his thoughts.
Oh.
On paper or telepathically? All right.
Pathetically.
See, he's thinking about Winston Churchill, and I'm thinking of Kid Cudi.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. The shit.
He just said Kid Cudi.
Kid Cudi, for real. Again, Cleveland Moto. If you don't know what that is, Google it, kids.
Yeah, right.
You'll really thank us. If you're looking for quotes, Kid Cudi's right at the top of the
He's
game.
good.
Right.
Winston Churchill, Kid Cudi.
Kid
It's
Cudi.
really hard.
Right, exactly. The shit that he said in passing is enough to make me feel like I'm not worthy of a fucking lean-to in the local landfill. Seriously, enter Winston Churchill quotes into the Google machine. After a couple of minutes, you will feel like your life is meaningless. That guy was tough, like tougher than your dad. Whoa, sorry, delete all the Winston stuff above. That's just me in my mind swirling things around. Phil, I want to leave a mushroom on the tank of the Hornet.
Oh, no.
We have the greatest motorcycle podcast ever.
Yeah.
Ever. The pictures of that Hornet, how did you take those? The sparkly red of the tank is so deep and lustrous. I present visual aids.
Oh, yeah.
He included a picture of smoochy
Oh,
lips.
man.
Yep. Yeah, there you go.
There's
Those
been
are
loads dropped on this
DSLs.
919, dude.
Johnny, man, I enjoyed watching the races with you two. I was in a really bad position of having to drive home and trying to have a good time. I'm a fucking shit show and I don't have to worry about shit. But when I do, I take it seriously. What day is it? Fuck. I think I have to go to work in the morning. Terry just left me and told me she's had enough. Do you know what that means? Disney Channel. Yes, left to my own devices on a work night, and I will absolutely regret it in the morning. Star Wars time for Gen X. Pause for a second while I put on some fucking classic lore.
Hold on. Let's step back. So his wife left him, and he's into Disney Channel?
In passing.
Oh, okay. I thought, like, officially, like...
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking.
Hey, do you see all the blue? Do you see all the blue on there?
Yeah.
No, there's no blue on there because I didn't respond to any of those.
Right.
Do you know why?
You were sleeping.
Hotline. This shit, I find out about this the next day.
Right.
Right. If you think this is a real-time conversation,
No.
No.
He's having a conversation with what he thinks is Phil.
well,
I mean...
and apparently I'm just
Or-
that active in real life.
Right.
I think
Phil.
he knows he's having a conversation with what will be Phil.
Phil of the future.
Right.
In the year 2000.
Oh, that's a pretty cool concept, man. Having a conversation with somebody that you...
It's like you can leave a message for somebody they'll read in the future
and interact.
Yeah.
and interact with later on.
Yeah. And now he's sitting at home in a few days listening to us interact.
If only there was a machine that could do that. Beep. Okay.
It's kind of like letters, though, if you think about it. This is like
It
back
is,
in
it
the
is.
World
You
War
mean
II
it's like some
era.
sort of mail.
No, but I mean, like,
You
legitimately.
fucking children.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Legitimately, though. I'm saying, like,
Legitimately.
people
It's
had
like
to
a
wait-
letter. It's like mail
See,
that people
letters
could
are-
send to each other. But if there was a way we could do it without licking the piece of paper, it'd be better.
if there's only an E in front of it. Right, I
Oh
get
my
it.
God.
But I'm saying, but this is completely
I've never
different than
felt
that.
so
We're writing
fucking old.
on the papyrus.
No, but seriously, because
Christ.
it's days later. This is like how you
Moving
would...
along.
You want smoke?
Dude, I'm going to
Look at- right
spit
here.
against
All
my
along.
hand on a
Fucking
cave
people.
wall. Exactly. Yeah. Jesus
beat
Christ. This is like a letter. This is like mail. All right, here we go. Oh, man. Here we go. Oh, where do
Man
we
gets
go?
on a bus.
So here we go. Hey, Phil, I'm saving a pittance of money. Not worth a second glance as of yet. West Coast Moto. What? Fuck you. Leave me alone. Put that Hornet in the back of the high ace and shut the fuck up. Tell me that equals. Phil, totally amped up right now. Fucking ignore me right now. That said, my fucking balls. When I think of both the Hornet and the high ace. Phil, I'm big and strong with a soft and cheery center. You're a pro, and you've experienced how soft and gentle I can be. What's the 919's manner? Is it upright but forgiving? I know that nut to butt it will take Mr. Mac. I know that nut to butt it will take Mr. Mac. It did. Yeah. But could I endure it for a long trip? You'd have to consult the new owner. Seriously, Johnny Mac and could not sit in a stadium without a sacrificial seat between us. Can confirm. And I'm only using him as a stout rain gauge. I don't see him stop to my back across the continent. If John wants to Indian wrestle me for a seat on my 919 across the continent, well, that's his business. Win or lose, I'll cook him a fat steak, give him a place to sleep, and fly him home, because he'll lose. But I'm a loving host. Dang, I should stop talking like that. Sweet oral paint job Hornet is mine. Especially since John already mounted her. That high ace, though, it's a diesel. You know, sorry, Phil, I'm abusing your phone number. Just fucking delete me and my thoughts. I'm just rambling. Seriously, I had a very dramatic evening. I did my taxes tonight. I almost filed my taxes with a $5,500 error, not in my favor. I was Popeye versus Bluto with a case of spinach angry for like 2 hours angry. So you know what I mean? The software didn't catch it, but I caught it using my goddamn math skills. You know what I'm saying? My stupid math skills caught it, not the fucking $90 tax program. I went from owing $3,000 to the Fed to getting $2,600 from the Fed.
Nice.
That's motorcycle money.
That's motorcycle.
That's half of
Yeah,
Such a fucking high and low. Sorry, getting worked up. You just go ahead and put the Hornet in the back of that high ace and tell me what the damages are. Steve H., I'm sorry. You sounded angry when I heard you for a long time, but now I know you're not grumpy. You just don't accept the status quo. You're way smart. Give me a minute. You're way smarter than the average bear. You challenge all things and all vectors, and I'm not comfortable with that. On a regular basis, I deal with arguments from people who do not understand the law or the process of law. That said, Steve, you and I talked for a while on Friday night while you were at the bar. I was drinking too, and I can't remember what we talked about. I want to correct what I said above. I am comfortable with challenging things. That said, I want to proclaim the following. Steve is the Baby Yoda sewer guy.
Oh, no.
Wow.
I talked with him while he was at Porco's, and he was the nicest guy. I know it doesn't roll off the tongue as well, but he's such a nice guy.
Out.
I am no longer the grumpy sewer guy.
You are Baby Yoda sewer guy.
Baby Yoda.
BYSG. Baby Yoda sewer guy. Look, again, Rand.
Vindicated.
Fucking awesome. And again, also, sorry about the fact that we did both sell the 919 and also the high ace to Baby Yoda sewer guy.
Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda.
Oh my God.
Floating in the pod, Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda. Levitating a horn monster, Baby Yoda.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Is there a video for that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so you need to just lay that into the video feed.
Yeah, we can definitely
I think
do that.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Just drop that right in there.
You got it.
Fair enough. So that's real. That happened. That was Rand.
Yeah.
You've been Randed.
He's feeling pretty randy.
He was feeling fucking randy, dude.
I think we talked to him the whole time we were there.
We did.
Somebody was talking to him
I'm
the
going
whole
to
time
say
we were
that
there.
for almost of the entirety of our trip to Porco, I gave up my phone, and we just kept passing the phone to other people. And
Steven spent quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
Was the owner with him?
Yeah, Steph. Yeah, Steph
That had
was
to be Steph and what? Yeah.
Yeah, Steph, and For people who have never met Steph is a fucking renaissance man of like, I'm going to open my own bar. But you don't really know how to bartend. Not a problem. Mm-hmm. I will find motherfuckers who do. Mm-hmm. And then he hired all the best people who do. And then he sent them to all the best places to do it against other people, like competitively. Yeah. And then it just kept getting better and better and better. And Stefan's just like, look, I don't have to know how to make a drink. I just have to not go out of business and pay these motherfuckers to make drinks. Right. And he did. And he built a beautiful place that we can all hang out and drink in. And like, it's very comfortable there.
And I think as a business person, he really, like, he got the people that work there so excited about where they work that they themselves take pride in what they do, but they also look to beat other places.
Absolutely.
Bars.
Oh, they are competitive.
Yeah.
Like they are straight up competitive. And when there's like a rivalry in town between this bar and that bar, and like no shit, above Stefan's bar, above Porco, there is a billboard. And the billboard has become like this thing that a local other bar that competes with Porco that shall be remain nameless because fuck the Spotted Owl.
Yeah.
I hate them.
But they rented out the billboard that is under like literally it's over Porco's head, but Porco doesn't control what gets advertised on there, right? And so they literally put up a billboard that said they were the new tiki spot. They were the best tiki bar in Cleveland.
And they're not a tiki bar.
And they're not.
No.
A craft cocktail bar. But that idea is just that sort of like, look, friendly, competition.
But to the credit of Mr. Was the advertising agency actually called him and said,
they have to.
Would you mind if we do this? And he was like,
because the billboard is literally bolted to his building. If they want to put a fucking NAMBLA fucking ad up there, they got to ask the guy who owns the building the fucking board is on top of.
But I'm just saying, like, he is game for it.
Oh, God, yeah. Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's that kind of thing. And that's what makes Steph so kind of amazing. Like, that's what he's a great friend, and he's somebody who, in our community, being that it's, we joke about, like, scooters and cocktails and everything else, but there is actually a community for that. Mm-hmm. It's weird. I mean, you think that you're in a weird fetish?
Well, and he bought the van to represent his bar, which is fucking great.
It's great. Yeah. I mean, the fact that I went in there.
Had Kevin detail it.
I was so happy when I found that van. I was like, I finally found a sandbar with a supercharger, and it just so happens it's got the Volkswagen body kit on it. Mm-hmm. And I showed it to Stefan. I was like, dude, check me out. I bought the coolest thing in the world. And Stefan was like, I really want that so bad right now. and like after 20 minutes, I was like, I'm going to sell it to him. And I sold it to him because I was like, I'm going to find another one.
But did you surprise? I don't know the story about this. Maybe you told it. I probably was drunk.
Go ahead.
I probably was drunk.
Probably. But did you?
Sage words from our host tonight.
No, but did you surprised him with having?
We stole the van,
and you had Kevin detail.
Yeah, so I stole the van from them. Mm-hmm. I had told Anne Marie, I told Mrs. Was about this plan I had. And to lie to Stefan and say that we were doing a Japanese domestic market, a JDM photo shoot. Okay. And I said, we're doing a JDM photo shoot. Steph, do you mind if I grab that van?
Right.
Because when I had sort of agreed to sell it to him, part of the intention of agreeing to sell it to him was it was going to become like the identity piece of like Porco.
Okay.
It was going to become like a billboard, a rolling piece of Porco.
Right.
That no matter where it went, it was no fucking doubt that shit was from Porco.
Right.
But it had been almost a year, and it was still just a weird, what color is that? That purple color? Pinkish, like whatever. Pinkish purple and black.
Like flamingo.
Yeah, flamingo colored, like flamingo and black Volkswagen body style van. And I was like, man, we got to do something special with that. We really got to turn that shit up. And our friend Kevin, who has his own bar now called the Moonglow Lounge, which
Kevin's got it.
Oh, it's
Kevin
great.
Moore's got a bar?
Yeah, called the Moonglow.
You want a backstory?
Wait. We need to go.
Where is
they're
it?
closed. It's fucking
I'll tell you.
COVID.
Hold on.
No.
Where is it?
Hold on. I will tell you where it
for
is.
Distinguished Gentleman's Ride last
I will
year.
tell you where it is.
Well, I didn't go there.
It is 2 blocks from my fucking mom's house where I grew up, and that used to be the 82 Saloon or 82 bar.
That was
the
82.
first place I ever snuck into when I was 16 and had a
82
drink.
Saloon. Yep.
And so he bought it and made it into a fucking like kind of like a speakeasy 50s kind of cool like fucking
stainless steel Howard Hughes fucking boner fuel. Yeah.
Where is it located?
It is
in
literally
Sagamore
at
Hills,
the corner
Ohio.
of
Sagamore Hills. It's 82.
Route 82.
Yep.
and
Well, Boyden's over here and 8. 82
or if
and
you
8.
have on a device that is from this century, you can type the word Moonglow into
Moonglow
it.
Lounge, right?
Right, and it'll tell you exactly where to go.
But dude, for me,
Kevin's awesome.
He is. He's great. And for me, though, it's so fucking weird because I snuck in there, and it was a place where there'd be like 72-year-old guys that are there Monday through Friday from 11 to 11. And that was it. It was just a shitty, dark, gross bar, but they'd serve 16-year-olds, you know? So I was like, eh. And now it's like a trendy, cool thing, like $2. So if I ever go there and I get shit hammered, I can just fucking go to my mom's house. It's 2 blocks away. It's fucking great. In fact, if the weather wasn't so shitty, I was like, fuck, we could have an after party because everything was going to end at the Moonglow Lounge. My mom, literally, I was like, fuck, we'll have a fucking bonfire party in the backyard. And people could stay if they had to. But no, it's a cool place. But originally, when he did it, all the chairs look like B-52 bombers. They're all like fucking aluminum. Mm-hmm. But whoever made them didn't realize that Americans need to sit in them. And so even me, I had to sit with one cheek. And the other cheek was like up here like this because they were so skinny.
Yeah.
They just had them all remade. They had them remade for American asses now. So
yeah, you know, what is it with the new bar stools that are this wide?
I don't know.
China.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
just
all...
saying, like, Brick and Barrel has these bar stools, I kid you not, that are this big.
They're literally...
We walk in there, my wife's
crates.
Like, get me one of those big-ass stools.
You know what I want? A big-ass stool. Yeah.
That's why you need all the toilet paper.
Here, baby, let me push your stool in.
Hey. But that, like, not kidding around, that van steal, we stole that thing. And Kevin was kind of between, he'd hurt his back and he did a little side work. And so we'd gone over there, and Kevin and I, over the course of just kind of looking at the van, we laid it out, and Kevin is so good.
Well, let's preface that. He is like a world-renowned pinstriper.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's like the guy.
If you type in Kevin Moore or Mortified,
right?
His shit is in here. I got some bowling pins from him that he's carved.
If you've seen
I've got a Tiki God in the front, that
if you've
carved.
seen a '50s gasser at a car show anywhere in the country,
they all
somewhere,
know Kevin.
Yeah, they all. He's
Kevin's pretty much a Renaissance man when it comes to gassers and to pinstriping in general, and to that whole fuzz.
And he graduated from my high school.
Oh, did he really?
Oh, yeah.
And he worked with. So
he worked with me.
He worked with you. So Kevin once said, "You know Steve Hoffert? He's the only boss I've ever had that I respected."
Wow,
man, that's saying something, right?
Yeah. I liked him. He's a great. Yeah. He's a great person.
Very good guy, very smart guy, and also worked in the turd herding industry. So
until one of the other dumbasses in that industry screwed him up.
Well, again, and this is what we talk about. Like, it's a very small world once you take a step back. And I met Kevin years ago through mutual friends in the punk rock community and rock and roll and stuff like that, and motorcycle shows and car shows and stuff. And kind of you just meet Kevin and you realize, wow, he's a cool guy. I want to hang out with him. Yeah. And then you start doing different stuff and different events. And it is a very interesting thing that was never in my intention. I don't restore old cars. No, I import weird little freaky Japanese shit. But Kevin's like, no, you should bring that shit to my party because that's really weird and people would be into that.
Right.
And there is a sense of mutual appreciation when you are into stuff that's weird and cool with people who aren't competitive.
Yeah, right.
And when people are totally secure in where they are, it's really great. Stefan did that. People all the time think that like all that stuff on the windows of that van, when Kevin did all the windows of the van, people think that's decals. No, that's hand painted.
It's painted, right?
So everything on the Porco van there's no decals anywhere. There's no vinyl on that van. Every bit of the crazy pinstriping, all that shit is done by hand.
Right. Well, look at his van. It has like 15 layers.
Oh,
of paint
it's a
or something
million
like
layers.
That. You guys did a whole podcast about it.
We literally accidentally at the Autorama show, which they didn't have this year because of COVID.
Right.
We sat around. Stefan,
Chris was on that couch like...
They brought a couch out. What this idea was to bring out this amazing 70s groovy van, right? This amazing fuzzy, the green fuzz, which is an amazing van with one of the best paint jobs on planet Earth and a great concept.
It has to have 1,000 hours into that paint job. At least
easily.
1,000
His
hours.
sand art was awesome,
and
too.
so he lays sand art out. So there's sand art on the floor. for us to walk around with. His wife Hadley is also an artist, so that and they're in a band called 45 Spider. Look them up. There's a song that is interestingly appropriate
in a cave.
Gotta find a cave.
Gotta find a cave,
which is from the old Banana Splits when I was a kid.
Yep.
So they did a version of Gotta Find a Cave, which we should probably link that in here because they deserve that.
We can put it in the background.
Yep.
So this whole segment. We'll put it in the whole segment.
We can throw it in the back.
Yeah.
We know the guy. We know a guy.
Yeah.
And Chris is there, and we're all kind of having a great time. And
Chris is there.
Chris just starts having a better time than any of the rest of us.
I got a head start.
Seeing as it's a car show. And next thing I know, we're all hanging around talking about cars and shit and doing you do at a car show.
Right.
And Chris was just like, he'd owned that couch. That was almost a full-size couch.
Yeah.
And Chris just owned it. I don't know where Chris got the wingspan all of a sudden. He looked like a pterodactyl over there. The fucking Rodan and shit. Yeah, look at that. Look at that reach. Dude, he was all up in that couch. Yeah, it was that was like green velour or something, wasn't it?
It was green velour.
That was a sexy couch.
Sucked me in, baby.
Yeah, we were like, okay, we should probably roll out right now. We looked over and you were like, all sleep apnea and shit, right? Yeah, it was crazy.
CPAP there.
CPAP machine's blowing it. Right, it was pretty rowdy, and but that was it. That was a good night.
And you know what's weird is we probably all would have been going to that show this weekend.
Yeah, we would have.
But
that was this week.
Yep.
So
I have never been to the Piston Power Show, and I was planning on going this year.
Yeah.
Well, Nick,
I was literally
glad
on
to
Monday,
hear
I was going to start hitting people up saying, hey, are we going to get together and do it? And it was like, oh, everything's done.
Yeah.
if a piston makes it go, it's in the show.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I was going to bring some electric shit out there just to fuck with them. I had talked to the organizers, and we had a few people talking to the organizers on my behalf because about 4 months ago, I had a wild hair up my ass. Hey, why don't we put the hearse in the Piston Power Show?
It's got pistons.
And it's weird.
Yeah.
And nobody's ever seen one. And so we figured it'd be a safe thing to have maybe one less Impala.
Or Corvette.
Maybe they could lose one more 80 Corvette.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe they could sacrifice one more 1981 Monte Carlo.
How about this? How many fucking pace cars actually exist? Because
Too many.
Apparently there's 97,000 Corvette pace cars.
There are.
For the Indy 500.
Yeah. Well, they didn't actually make the number of cars they needed to do the event. They made every dealer got 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. It's a pace car edition.
Oh,
it doesn't mean it's actually done
was
in
at
Indy.
the-
Right?
okay.
Yeah,
All
It may have never been to Indianapolis. I mean, it's this one made it as far as Bowling Green, and that was as close to Indianapolis as it ever
The
got.
value goes up. This one hit Pittsburgh, so
Right.
that's worth that much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, yeah.
And if you got that joke, you're a fucking Corvette Camaro fucker. Yeah, that's it.
Cam's on the floor laughing right
Yeah.
now.
You fuck Cam. God damn it, he's not here tonight. God damn it, Cam. Another Corvette owner. But
John Microfresh is giving him a big hug.
I know, they're like, look, we have valueless Corvettes too.
Yep.
Look at us. We have the most horsepower you can buy for $11. I've never seen anybody.
John's is the only Corvette that's ever rusted.
I don't understand. The entire thing's made of fiberglass and plastic. How did it rust? GM, baby, GM.
Yeah.
They'll figure out a way to make it rust.
I broke
General
down.
Motors from Detroit, man.
I bought GM stock
Yeah?
because of the battery thing.
Because the battery thing, I agree. I don't think that's a bad idea.
What'd you buy it at?
$15 or $17.
That's totally
Where are we
correct.
now? Yeah. Come on.
Not that.
Velcro.
How we doing?
Come on.
How we know?
How we doing now?
GM?
Finding you.
Let's see.
Pretty good, and you? Not so bad.
Not so bad. Not so bad.
Yeah, while we're waiting for the
Stop
fucking
sucking
stock
your
report,
finger.
while we're waiting for the Hoffert stock report, according to the Baby Yoda sewer guy,
$17.91.
You bought it at 15?
Yeah.
What's the 52-week high? 52-week high.
for General Motors,
Yeah.
Did they pay attention?
I know, right?
I'm not a freaking broker.
Well,
right
obviously.
in the Coloca, right? The but
$41.90.
$41.90, right? Yeah,
well done.
that's a safe buy.
About the same as Harley Davidson.
Yeah, that's a good buy. That's a good buy. Oh, the difference is that General Motors has a plan for the future,
Yeah.
whereas Harley Davidson claims to have 1,000 live wires.
Yeah.
Which if you're into a haptic heartbeat, good for you. But in the
They
meantime,
both run on 2 cylinders.
So all the small displacement bikes that have been coming in and out
Yeah.
and stuff. I don't think we talked about this last week, but did you see that Husqvarna has released 250 versions of the Vispulin and the other thing or whatever? What is it?
the smart pillion
Smart Pillion, and what's the other one?
and the fistula.
Yeah, that.
The fist pillion.
No, but they released 2 versions.
Dude, when you come up with a motorcycle and it's called the fist pillion, you're like, I think I know her. So my ex-wife's got a bike now.
I'm just saying that the small displacement bikes are becoming something. They're becoming something.
A lot of people think that that's the answer. They're wrong.
Okay.
The answer for small displacement bikes has always been the used market.
Oh, all right.
So the only place since 1978 or so, with like the CB125S and that range of bikes, the idea of the 125 and the 250 and the 300, like that range, has kind of been new guys. And it turns out that new guys, whether or not they're J. Paul Getty or me when I was, of age,
Right.
new guys are always looking for like the cheap buy. They don't want to throw a bunch of coin down onto. And a great example of that is this guy. Because he's you're the last guy. Like, you're the last generation. Like, when Chris bought his GS, when you bought your GS, that was your first bike, right?
Right.
Right. So when he bought his GS, 1981,
Correct.
yeah, that was the last time anybody sold and realistically, he didn't buy the entry-level bike because Suzuki made smaller bikes. He could have pulled up SP200 or something, right? Same era, you could have bought an SP200 at the same dealership. You didn't. You went for
At the
GS.
time, it would have been an SP125 or 250.
There you go. Well, no, that's good. I mean, that's good because we should.
V90.
We should check that out. Give or take 1981. What would the SP250 have cost him? Because that's a street legal 250.
I have absolutely no idea.
No idea, right? But like in Copex, your bike.
Less than that.
Yeah, right, exactly. But a GS450, which is pretty fucking tall cotton, gear position indicator. I mean, it's a pretty badass bike. Disc brakes. There's nothing about your bike in 1981 that was considered to be an economy model bike.
No.
You had a 6-speed. Not too many bikes had that, especially not a 450. And it's a dual overhead cam bike too. So building it was expensive. What did that thing cost you in $1981?
It's $2,000.
$2,000 in $81, which is about $6,000 in today's dollars.
Or 65,000. One of those two. When you look at it.
But I guess the point being, his motorcycle by today's standards as a 450 would be BMW F650 money-ish.
Oh, you're right. Yep.
Because that's the level of sophistication and the price point, $81 to today's dollars. And when you look at the SP250 from 1981, which was a dirt street dual purpose does everything
Enduro,
motorcycle,
yeah.
right? An Enduro with turn signals and headlights and taillights and shit. I kind of almost remember those as being in the $2,000 category. So like that was about 50% less money overall than what you were spending for your bike.
Right.
You could have got into an SP250.
I was wrong. I don't think they made an SP in 81. I think it started in 82.
82,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So
And Nick, what year were you born?
93.
yeah,
geez.
that's
I got my first STD in '93, I think.
my vasectomy was in kindergarten. It's but like
My son was born in
right.
93.
But when you think about modern motorcycles and what they cost, and people are saying, okay, well, XYZ company is going to launch a 250 or a 300 or a 350.
Right.
Remember, that's an uphill battle because right now, any motorcycle company's biggest competitor is their small displacement bike that they launched 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's a real tough thing in this market.
Plus gas is $1.85.
I know gas is cheaper than fucking shit right now.
Hummers are coming out of the woodwork all over the place.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah, I've seen about, I think at least 3 or 4 H2s in
Get
the
the
last
fuck outta
3
here.
weeks. Yeah.
They've got to be
How
20 years
rusted
old
were
by
they?
now, right?
They're so rusted on most of them. They're
And
like,
they've driven 12 miles and
Yeah,
it's back into the
clearly,
garage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
to
that's
this
the-
day, when you see a guy in a Hummer, they
Yeah.
still have fucking Oakley blades on. I don't even know how that's fucking
it doesn't
possible.
matter.
I know, but I'm
it,
just saying.
it really, I mean, the point being is that is one of those things in the world where if you did ever want to just grossly, radically hate, intimidate anybody,
Yeah.
put the side stand down on your buddy's scooter, scamper up the fucking ladder on the side of the Hummer to the guy driving it, and just be like, "You suck, and everything about you is under fucking performing."
Right.
And your wife likes my cock.
Right.
And then run away. And you've just done 1,000 years damage to that guy
Right.
because you could. And the fact that you did it off the back of like a Pink Buddy scooter makes it way better.
You go, hey, would you like to call your mom? Just hit redial.
That's exactly
Killed my beta.
Oh my beta. Threw off the pH in my fucking beta. Oh my god. Anyway. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Because we're right there at 1 hour and 40 some minutes. I did want to think about. Can you think of one way or any way that your motorcycle or motorcycles plural, if you live that kind of a Utah relationship, can get you through this tough time that we call 19?
I took my passport down to Brick and Barrel today.
Yeah.
Got 2 growlers.
Right. Yeah, because you have the baskets on the side.
Yep.
You have literally folding baskets
They
on the
fit in
side.
the front basket there. So
Oh, do they really? Oh,
I
that's
couldn't.
cool.
I didn't have any more. I would have gotten more growlers, but I had to give all my growlers to my extra growlers to my kid, Patrick, and now they're his because I'm not going to touch them without pouring gasoline on them and lighting them on fire.
You're going for a full fucking nuclear cleanse. Yeah. You're like, I'm going to let you know my standards of cleanliness are higher than yours, so you can have all these.
So what'd you get in your growlers?
Bitter Chief.
Bitter Chief. Tell me about that beer.
It's a IPA.
Of course it is.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite beer in the whole city.
Grumpy sewer guy likes Bitter Chief.
Fitting.
Big fucking surprise there, right? Yeah. Couldn't have like a nice,
I want to give Brick
Chambord
and
or
Barrel a
something.
shout out.
Yeah, right on, dude.
Christina rides GSXR 750. I think.
Yeah.
I hope I got that right, Christina.
I've been really thinking about the bikes I want to work on over this year, and I did finally get. I got both cylinders running on the Transalp.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What was
What
the
was-
deal?
It was exactly what we said it was.
Oh, one of the-
It was Mark's. Thanks again to Mark's Electronics because we did order in a CDI, and we ordered in a perfectly good brand new CDI from Mark's.
And in case people haven't listened, that
Yeah.
bike is a CDI per cylinder.
Yeah,
correct?
one CDI per
wow.
hole, right? There's 2 CDIs, front and rear. And it's always, if you're working on an 80s Honda and you have these strange little matchbox sized aluminum boxes on there with little heat sink lines on the top of them, those are some people call them igniters, some people call them CDIs. They are what they are. There's 2 of them.
They're a pain in the ass.
And they are a pain in the ass, and they are feeble on their best day, but Rick's can fix all that. And so, yeah, in fact, so now somebody had replaced the rear CDI on this unit many, many years ago, and we replaced the front CDI on the unit right now, and she is fucking ticky, happy.
Are they the same part, front and rear?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you
same
can
part
you can
number.
move it to the back to see if the problem.
That's
moves to the-
exactly what we did.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And so when you guys were out here last week and we were stabbing at it with screwdrivers and insulting it with, whatever, that's all I did. So I literally grabbed a CDI and rotated it around, and then all of a sudden we had a front cylinder firing but no back cylinder. We knew which part to order, and we did, and the part came in, and hey, there there was much rejoicing.
Pep back?
What's that?
The Pep is back.
The Pep is back. It has 2 cylinders. So the fact that it's got 4 spark plugs and 2 cylinders, it's a happy Honda. And so that's going to be. I'll be doing a little more with that this year. So that's going to be a thing. I don't think I'm going to like the dent in the gas tank. I'm okay with that. It's a red, white, and blue Honda Transalp, motherfucker, and it's got good tires on it now.
Called Dent King. Believe it or not, I've heard those guys can really because they can
fish
get
a
into
dent
the
out.
thing and fish. Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I mean, like the rest.
Battle wound.
It's a battle.
Yeah.
It's earned it, man.
Yeah.
It's earned its scars. I do like it. The suspension though is fucking untouched since 1989, and that is the suspension is like. It is like walking into a marshmallow swamp with moon boots on. It is just like, oh, I'm barely in control here.
Yeah.
And it really is. It's a shitty suspension.
Did you ever notice that a bike that has a dent or a scratch never gets another one?
No, that's fair game.
There's also
the first thing you should do is scratch your bike.
Right.
Yeah, because it's true. If you have a dented gas tank,
you
see none of the rest of it.
You can drop like an anchor or something right above it and somehow goes and misses the tank.
And this thing has enough like weird garage rash on it that it's like, that's okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I actually like it better the way it is. And I would not want to make it perfect because to make a 1989 Honda Transalp perfect, you got to buy weird shit from weird people. And I don't want to do that. I want to just keep it the way it is. It's ugly.
You're going to get the coronavirus.
I am going to get
whatever you buy.
I am going to. What I am going to do is I'm going to pull I'm going to pop the caps off the front fork tubes. I'm going to shove some goddamn broom handles in there. And anybody out there that's a true fucking shitty mechanical know what I'm talking about.
At least about an inch of broom.
I'm going to put about an inch of fucking PVC tubing in there. And go up to maybe a 10 weight on the oil.
And you're going to take the fish juice that used to be the forest oil out of fucking front of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Fish.
What kind of oil is this?
I don't know, but it smells like fish.
I think it's
every
Murphy's oil
fucking
soap.
time,
Nope,
man.
smells like fish.
Yeah.
Fuck it. So I think I'll go with like some 10 weight in there, some proper oil, and give things a good fucking scrubbing. Yeah.
When I was 16 or 17, I was hanging out with my buddy who was he was older and he was into motorcycles.
Yeah.
And we were talking about girls, and I hadn't touched anything at that point. I didn't know what a boob was. I mean,
Right.
whatever.
I had no idea.
And so we were like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, he was working on his bike and he popped open the fork.
Yeah.
He's like, if you're ever with a girl that smells like this, run.
Oh, darling, I love you so much. You remind me of a 60s Volkswagen transmission.
Now, do you realize you just made a Murphy's oil soap reference?
I did.
And that's a regional reference.
That is. Oh, I didn't know that was regional.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
really?
Yeah, that's Cleveland, Ohio.
I had
really?
I thought
Yeah.
Murphy's was just the game.
No. Harlan Murphy invented Murphy's oil soap
Get
right
out
here
of here.
in
That's a
Greater-
Cleveland reference?
Yep.
I had no idea.
So it's not, it doesn't, where, it's just sold here or does it go everywhere?
I don't know how far.
And
it
that's
goes,
the difference
but
between
the origin of it was here in Greater Cleveland.
and that's the
Okay.
difference between a tree lawn and a devil strip,
Yeah, right.
motherfucker.
Yep.
I don't know what sort of a reference you're making. But
It's okay. People in Detroit know about a devil strip.
Well, same with Akron.
Akron's a devil strip, right?
But here it's a tree lawn?
Tree lawn.
Yep. Just like, give me your business, but don't come up the laneway.
Leave it at the end of the laneway.
Leave it at the end of the
Yeah.
laneway.
So, not joking around, but like that motorcycle, I'm not going to put any more money into it.
Yeah.
We're done. We're
Right.
officially stopped. It's got a fresh chain. It's got fresh sprockets. It's got fresh tires. I'm extremely happy with it.
There's one thing that bike wants to do, and it's ride.
It wants Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, that's what it wants.
Yep.
And if we could talk for a second about Mid-Ohio.
Oh, I don't want to. No. Bagel and me were communicating on Facebook today from our friends at the Motorcycles and Misfits.
God
right?
love the Misfits.
Bagel and I.
Me and Bagel and I. Thank you. And back and
Me
forth,
and
and we were talking about how my stupid work was not
He's
closing.
planning on driving across America.
Well, he
and
also was
Hawaii.
going to go to Hawaii,
Right.
but that's on hold.
So he can
at
get
the
his
moment.
50th state.
Right.
Right.
But so we're going back and forth, and he mentioned like they might not have Mid-Ohio, and I was like, "Stop! What do you do? You can't do that.
say that.
Why? Like the whole universe just heard you.
Right.
You're not allowed to talk about
Yeah.
that. That gives me nothing to live for. I don't even want to hear this. It isn't. It is a possibility.
Yeah.
So we can talk
It's
about
a
it.
probability.
We can-
Yep.
Well-
it is a probability. You're right.
Stop. What are you guys doing?
You know what?
Hypothetically, it
People
could
in
not
Denmark
happen.
are the happiest people in the world, and they're the most pessimistic. So why don't you just say it's not going to happen, and if it happens,
And be
then you're
thrilled
gonna
if
be
it does.
freaking happy.
Okay, I'll roll
Instead
with
of
it.
saying
That's fine.
it's going to happen, and
Or we're
when
gonna
it
have a beach
doesn't
party at
happen,
my
you'll be
house.
Like, oh,
Okay, one of the two
it's
things.
not-
So in other words, you should be in horrible depression for the next 3 months.
Right.
And then
if it changes-
happens, then
Come out.
Pure
fantastic.
But if it doesn't, then
Yeah.
I just kill myself.
Yes. Yes.
About a week ago, I told Renee that I was going to do a chargeback on our punk rock bowling tickets because I could see
No,
the
it
way
was-
things were headed. And Vegas was like, no, it's not a problem.
Somebody in Vegas was like,
All is well. There's nothing to see here. Right? And so, like, Vegas, everyone else was saying no groups larger than 50. And Vegas was like, the orgy suite is still open.
right.
You know, and that was one of those games. And I just said, punk rock bowling's totally getting canceled because it's a big event. Yeah. And everybody that works here was like, no, don't do that, man. Don't be part of the problem. Don't be that asshole that does a chargeback and everything else. I'm like, South by Southwest got canceled.
Yeah.
And all those people that own tickets didn't get a fucking nickel. Like, congratulations for participating
Really?
in South by Southwest.
They didn't get reimbursed?
It's over. Yeah. So
Well, that's a shit deal.
it's a shit deal. So I'd felt pretty bad considering I'd invested a little fortune in that. Very happy that Oscar and I went to Isle of Man last year.
Yeah,
no
right.
kidding.
Done.
Good
Because
for
I'll
you.
take the rain in last year as opposed to the not having it this year.
Can you
and being
imagine if-
on the hook for a $7,000 house?
Yeah, or can you
Yeah.
imagine flying there and then finding out that it's canceled or something?
You would never be able to fly there. You'd find out like a long time in advance because, of course, when it happens is the end
Well,
of
I'm
May.
just saying, like, if things
Yeah.
didn't line up right now.
Shit, dude. If this would have been last year, we would have been fucked because we had a non-refundable
Oh, right.
thousands of dollars house
Right.
that we owned that there's no race now happening to go with the thousands of dollars house that you may or may not be able to fly to and enjoy, even if you're just like a sheep enthusiast who just wants to go there and
But you know what? At that point, there's so many cancellations that if you had to go and at least take the house,
Right.
you could probably rent a bike and just ride the Isle of Man TT.
the idea would be
Yeah.
you'd make the best of a bad situation,
right,
and so
right.
would everyone else, unless everybody's on the goddamn Q word.
Yeah, right.
And if everybody in the goddamn island is literally going like, you want to have some fun? Oh, let's have some fun. What are we going to do? Oh, we're going to go down the end of the goddamn street and throw rocks at a sheep
Yeah, right.
because that's all you can. Goddamn,
That's a mean
do.
thing to do.
Well, but you know,
Until the sheep start throwing them back.
right? Exactly.
Well, the Australian Formula One Grand Prix got canceled Friday morning. So they have Friday practice,
Yep.
Saturday qualifying, and then Sunday the race.
what the
And
shit?
so-
You mean they canceled it the
They
Friday
canceled
morning
it-
of practice?
Yes.
When all the 18-wheelers are there?
Yep.
Oh, dude, they did that to MotoGP. MotoGP was at Qatar or whatever,
Qatar, yeah,
wherever,
right.
and they let Moto 1 and 2 go, but not the
Yeah,
main
not
thing.
the main run. Yeah.
But they're not even in close proximity to each other.
No, but there were guys.
Not if you're good.
There were guys. There were
If you
guys.
fuck up, you ruin the whole matrix.
But there were guys from China coming
Now we're
to
in the
race.
same car together.
Fuck
It's weird.
them. They just need to stay there.
There were like 3 people on the McLaren Formula One team who tested positive
Right.
for coronavirus,
Right.
and like 1 person on Mercedes. So there were a few people in the mix who,
Who did
Ruined
legitimately?
it for everybody.
right? That's true. That's
Again,
true.
Couldn't quit licking each other.
But now all of the races up through June or maybe early July are canceled or
This is it.
postponed.
Dude, my favorite thing in this.
But there's still going to be the piston bridal show.
yeah, right. My favorite thing though, I'm not a huge sports fan.
Yeah.
But they were showing the basketball guy, right? It was right before all this shit happened.
He touched
and
everything.
he touched everything and licked something and was doing all
touched
this. He was
everything.
like,
He was making a political
Rudy
statement.
Gobert.
and he was the first guy to get fucking coronavirus.
That's hilarious.
Well, I'm blaming
for
it on
him.
Rudy Gobert.
Okay.
Right. Again, whatever the case is, if you're going to be that guy,
Yeah,
fuck you.
yeah.
You deserve it.
You deserve it.
And at this point, I just went from being like, oh, to
Yeah.
being like,
The Simpsons guy. Yeah.
fuck. I mean, seriously, with this whole thing, a lot of it is going to be how we deal with each other. And then there's a lot of it that's going to be like, we'll build some more. A lot of it is going to be the game of the numbers, right?
Yep.
So,
Well, and this is why we're doing a public service.
look, Nick will survive.
Yeah, he will. We don't worry about him. Smith, he's already half. I mean, we're worried.
Yeah, that's
Crombie
okay.
didn't even show up.
Yeah. Well, good. He shouldn't have. Yeah.
Right.
Well, here's the
shouldn't.
thing: is my grandparents are living with my parents, and I had to borrow my dad's car, the BMW.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because my Fiat is currently in a state of disassembly.
Your Fiat is literally. What the fuck happened to your Fiat? Did you try to change the oil filter?
No. No, I tried to change the clutch.
You tried to change the clutch in the Fiat, which means you had to remove the front of the Fiat,
Everything.
from the back seat forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
The motor's in a different state. At
So
this
basically,
point.
with the Fiat, the clutch release bearing exploded. There were ball bearings floating around inside my clutch bell housing, and
Motor Guzzi
that's
part
why
number.
it changed feeling and stuff.
yeah. It was weird because when it first went, it was like, oh, this doesn't feel worse. It just feels different. In fact, it felt arguably better.
Fiat clutches, when they feel good, stop driving.
And then it got to the point where I couldn't actually get it into first gear or reverse.
I'm
Because
so
the
glad.
little balls were stuck
I'm
in the
so
gears.
glad.
right?
Well,
we
no,
got rid of
because
our
the
Fiat.
clutch release bearing welded itself to the clutch.
How many miles were on that Fiat?
About 130,000.
That's amazing. That is. I mean, I'm not saying that's amazing. Like, you know what? Well done, Fiat. You made a car last nearly as long as Chinese cars do.
Right.
No, I don't mean it's amazing like that. I mean it's amazing that you got 130,000 miles out of a Fiat.
I'm gonna get more once I get it all back together.
I don't think so.
So I had to borrow my dad's car,
Right.
my dad's old car. So I drove down to their house, and they were like, "Don't come in. I'll just put the keys in the cup
Right.
holder."
Right.
So
Because there's two generations
Yep.
of DeVitos living in that household,
correct.
going back to the old country.
And you just
Yeah.
came back from a road trip, right? You went and saw your girlfriend, or not?
I just brought her. I rescued her from New York.
Did you really?
I did.
Oh, you got her back?
I got her back about a week ago. And
Jesus Christ,
there were
dude.
serious concerns that
Yeah.
she would be trapped in there.
Yeah.
With absolutely nothing to do because
Right.
Okay.
she works in schools and the schools are shut down.
Oh, the schools are all done. My wife's a
Right.
school principal.
Here's
Yeah.
my man.
That's it. It ain't happening. Yeah.
Well, too late. You have it. But
Right. My sister is considering coming up at the end of next week from St. Petersburg, where it's still unicorn farts and like everything's beautiful. Because if you've ever been to St. Petersburg, there's a reason they have ads on the radio advertising St. Petersburg, which is weird. Like you listen to NPR, you're like, and the next edition of All Things Considered is sponsored by St. Petersburg, where art is everywhere. We live a better life than you, and we have a Chihuly glass monument, and we have like everything in St. Petersburg is better. And I've been there, and they're not far off because they're like, oh well, here in St. Petersburg we live a good life. You're going to Tampa? Why would you do that? And you go to Tampa, and you're like, Tampa's pretty fucking amazing too. And they're like, no, but St. Pete's better.
They're like going to succeed from Florida.
Yeah,
And just start their
Like,
own
oh,
thing.
sorry. Are you on the mainland, or are you out on the out on the fucking the escarpment or whatever?
Right.
If you're out on the goddamn estuary, and you're like you're out there and you're just looking at the water, and a manatee brings you a cocktail, like welcome to St. Petersburg. Yeah.
Gives you a flipper.
Right, exactly. Hey, hi, Flipper. That's it. That's it. My genitals are on the inside. Yay! Because I'm a manatee.
Because it's cold out there.
Because it's manatee time. But
Do you know who owns Papa John's? Because he fucked my friend over here.
Look, I'm not saying we're mad.
No.
But he deserves a check.
Yeah, exactly. There's just little flippers. That
Have
need
you
to
ever
be
heard of
taken care
manitimony? All we're saying is, come on.
Yeah, support your kids.
Yeah, support your kids. That's exactly. All these little kids over here look like manatees. Yeah, little gray kids, all wrinkly. Look like they got Benjamin Button, but they're not. Little propeller marks on their back. Yeah, so bad. But I'm going to make her come up here to help my mom out because she wants to. Guilt is strong,
Right.
And so she's going to come up to Cleveland. I don't know if I would do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would leave St. Petersburg to come to Cleveland.
I wouldn't.
Exactly.
Stay there.
Yeah, stay there. Right, sequester in place. But the problem is my mom is doing no good in that fucking old lady jail. Yeah, she's not good in there. She's not good. I was like, you got to shank the biggest, toughest bitch in there.
At that stage, wouldn't you just slip her some acid and let her have a good time? Like, you know what I mean? Like, here you go.
They won't let anything. So we've got a medicinal weed appointment scheduled, like legit.
Yeah.
And they won't let her go to it. Because they do not acknowledge weed as being like
medicinal.
Yeah, the Cleveland Clinic does not acknowledge that weed is allowed to be in their buildings.
Which is insane because every time I'd go to a hip appointment, they were like, "Have you considered marijuana?" I was like, "Oh no, tell me about this.
Tell me more about this
thing,
strange. What is this THC you speak of?"
Right.
And meanwhile, I told these folks at her nursing care center, I was like, "Well, we have an appointment on Friday to take her and go have her meet the doctor, and evaluate her for medical cannabis."
Right.
And they said, "Okay, and when is that?" I said, "It's Friday. When is it?" At 9:30 in the morning. "Oh, great. And where is it?" "It's in Mayfield at Golden Gate." "That's great. And what's the doctor's name?" "Hold on. 1-800-Dr. Weed."
Yeah.
They're like, doesn't pass the credibility test. So anyway, they're not going to let her go. They're not going to let her escape from old lady jail to go get her weed appointment.
Wait, what's the number?
You can call. You can call.
What?
So as of like 2 weeks ago, OhioMedicalMarijuana.com has call-in doctors.
No, we're doing it online. We're doing we're doing a telemed.
That's it.
Yeah, we're doing telemed.
That's it.
Yeah, we're doing telemed.
Right. Okay.
So we're going to be like, "Hey, my mom needs weed, and I need to be her official legal caregiver."
Right.
And they're going to be like, "Aren't you a little old to be fucking around with weed?"
No.
And we're like, "No, she's like 77. I'm like, "No, you, Mr. Waters, you, 50 years old. Aren't you a little old to be fucking around with weed?"
No, not at all.
Not at all, yeah.
That stigma needs to go away.
My mom's like, "I'm so mad. I don't want to make you a drug dealer." I'm like, "Mom,
it's weed, dude.
I'm becoming legal. What I've done for you for the past 5 years is the definition of being a drug dealer. What I'm about to do now is trying to be legit about it, as opposed to like funneling you all of my good like gummy bears and shit."
There's a whole series. One of the girls from our favorite show, Letterkenny, one of the hockey players, is in a show now on Canadian TV that's hopefully coming here about how legal weed in Canada has fucked up all the professional drug dealers in Canada. So it's this whole show about how she's like, I can't think of the name of it, but the two girls that chirp the best.
Yeah.
The African American girl, those two, not the white girl, but the other one, the one that was like the hockey player.
It's like a it's like a boa constrictor.
Anyway,
you're mad.
But anyway, she's in this show where it's all about her. That goes from like being this underground making a lot of money. Now it's legal. She's just a delivery person.
She literally just went from being a god among people to being the Domino's delivery driver.
Exactly.
Right. You have reductionism at this great level. I got this great thing and you're going to want it.
Yeah.
Down to like when we were in Portland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Portland. It was $100 an ounce, which is literally like going cheaper than beer.
Yeah.
You know, for the high.
Cheaper than beer.
Yeah, for the high, right? For the high, it was like, "You want a pack of joints? Here's a pack of joints. Look how beautiful they are. They're all lined up like little soldiers in there, and you can smoke them all. And they're strawberry flavored. And they've taken all the mystery and nastiness out of weed. So
yeah, and they can literally tell you like, this will make you feel really good, but you'll be cool.
Exactly.
This one will make you see God.
It's got a picture of an angry guy on it.
Right.
You're like,
This one's a staple gun.
It's a wizard.
Couch.
It's a wizard with a big beard, and his eyes look angry. Right.
But that's one of the greatest things.
Where on the pain spectrum are you?
Right. But that's one of the greatest things about legal weed is that they didn't fuck up the names. They weren't like Exrexiol or something.
Right.
They're like glue. And you're like, why is it called glue? Because when you smoke it, you won't leave the couch for 5 hours. And you're like, oh, okay, cool.
And there's still 47 AK-47s. Right. And you're like, why does there need to be 47 different varietals of marijuana that are all called AK-47?
Right.
And they're like, this is AK-47 Purple Kush. And I'm like, I got mixed messages here.
Yeah.
I'm just not quite sure where I'm going with this.
But that is, so, I mean, not that we're turning into a weed podcast.
Not at all.
But the thing is like, what's kind of nice
we're barely a Painkiller podcast.
Right. But the thing that's nice about legal weed is
barely
that...
a motorcycle podcast.
Right.
But
never accused of that.
But if you're somebody that's in pain and you're thinking about doing it, this is the difference of like having like a hookup and actually like legal weed.
Right.
It's like some hookup guy's like, I have the best. And that best might be something that like for a normal, like a person, they're like, they take a hit and they're fucking like out of their skull and they're fucking like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
It could be wet too.
Yeah, whatever. It could be something, right? But when you go to a thing and you're like, hey, listen, I have really bad back pain.
Right.
I just want to sleep throughout the night. They're like, okay, hold on. Let me suggest this. And they know what they can offer you and it'll actually help you. And so
would you like me to translate that through the reality matic of me buying weed in Denver?
Sure.
Okay, so like what you're gonna need is you're gonna need the White Russian, which we have is a really good indica, and what you're gonna need for your back pain in particular, like this is just the best weed for you. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the deal that we have, you know, you can do the edibles, but really just get the flower because it's just a better deal.
Wow. So you do have to put up with that.
That is exactly it. It is the super helpful weed girl. So like the super helpful weed girl.
It's your bud tender.
The bud tender?
Yeah.
Right. The super helpful bud tender. It is this whole new game where you're just like, oh my fucking God, Janet, please just give me the fucking weed. Right?
Super planet,
you know,
Janet.
here's what I'm going to assure you is that my buying power, we could do that whole row. So just like get me in the range.
Yeah.
give me 15% on either way. I'm okay.
But it's still better than just getting something from some dude.
Well, of course it is. Absolutely. You used to talk about ditchweed and all this other various crap.
Well, that
was
goes
in
back
brickweed.
like
all kinds of
Nebraska.
that you were buying from dinosaurs on the side of the road in South Dakota or something.
Wait a minute,
right?
Chris Smith bought weed? That's
Ditchweed, though.
Ditchweed.
Yeah, so all the guys I went to college with, they're all farmers in Iowa and Nebraska, and they used to plant the stuff during World War II to grow what?
In the ditches?
They used to grow hemp.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So they tore it all up to grow their crops, but
there was some shit left over on the side.
Yeah, the stuff that grew in the ditches. So it was
But if you were smoking hemp, that wasn't doing you any good, man.
Well, it wasn't real good. And I might say that it was a little harsh.
And after the first, second, or third pound.
Yeah, but back then you had to smoke a joint to get high.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
and that's a good point.
Well, wait a minute. So
I'll be 50 this year.
Okay, so you were around when you had to smoke a joint to get high. Now
Yes,
you could take
absolutely.
I took a good 15 or 20 year sabbatical from weed, right?
Right.
And so when I used to smoke it, I'd be like, whatever. So the first time somebody was like, "Hey, you want to smoke some weed?" I'm like, "Yeah, give me that thing." I was like,
you're like, whoa.
And handed it
weed
back
is
to him.
really strong today.
"Oh, dude."
Yeah.
I was sitting there and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I feel it." I was like, I'm dying. There's no way I'm not dying right now. And everybody around me is
And
laughing.
you look like
their
Hunter S.
ass
Thompson on glue.
Yeah, exactly, man. Now it's
man.
like whenever you get new something like that, you have to be like, and wait 35 minutes and go, okay.
It's Alice in Wonderland theory with literally marijuana.
Right. Yeah. It's fucking. It's interesting.
It's a fundamental building block of enhancement.
Right.
I mean, that's
But
what
when
it
you
is.
get
That's enough for any novice. I mean,
My mom is the greatest drug user of anybody. My mom takes Norco, which is the kinder, friendlier name of OxyContin, and all of the,
I think that's what they gave me with my hip.
the
They gave me-
opioids. Of course they did.
Yeah.
Because they've changed the name of the drug 5 times.
Yeah, they want to keep it.
It's the same drug. They've just changed the name of it. They're all the same exact thing, and they're like, oh, well, this is a controlled substance. They give it to my mom. My mom, she goes, oh, 5 milligrams. That's adorable. That's great.
I'll take
that's
10.
great. I'm going to have 3 of those now with my pudding, and like, yeah. And so what you guys don't understand is that a 77-year-old woman knows more about narcotics than any fucking 50 or 30-year-old burner is ever going to think he knows.
Right.
Because these women are trading that shit. I watched my mom for Depends. They're trading thousands of dollars worth of Oxy for like 12 Depends.
Oh, wow.
Because look, when you don't want to shit your pants on a car trip, you're willing to give up a dozen Oxys for that. Wow. Because
you must have a lot of inventory in that case.
Yes, and my mom gets Oxys in a 300 count bottle.
300 count bottle.
It's insane.
What's he going to do? Damage her liver?
Well, this is the joke. They're like, well, we don't want her to become addicted. Yeah. She's 77 goddamn years old.
That's the best.
If she became Keith Richards right now, I'd be happy.
Right.
I'd be thrilled if she had a drug problem.
Yeah, but Steve Richards is 76, not 77.
Oh, so he's a year younger than my
what's
mom.
What's the best thing that you could hear about a 70 or 80-year-old lady? How did she die?
Right.
She overdosed on drugs.
Overdosed on heroin.
Yeah.
Right.
She wrecked her Harley
at the grog shop.
Right. Exactly. The first time my mom rode a scooter, it was adorable. We gave my mom a Honda Elite 80, which is a 2-stroke.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're not familiar with 2-strokes, they're a little weird. Mm-hmm. You're like a 2-stroke anything is weird, but a two-stroke scooter is very, very weird. Yeah, because it's a CVT. Mm-hmm. So a CVT is a bag of lies. Like a CVT and a turbo once gotten together, and nobody ever told the truth ever.
No.
Like a CVT and a two-stroke is a very bad combination. Because you're like, why is this thing so slowly? Shit, I broke my leg.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what happened. My mom got on this beautiful Honda gold-colored Elite Aero 80, which then it's called an Aero 80.
Right.
Which the only thing more deadly than an Aero 80 was the Aero 125.
I'm sure.
Jeez.
It had 3 lug nuts.
Had 3 lug nuts?
It had triangle-shaped wheels. Look it up. Don't take my word for it.
That's why people underestimate the Zuma 50.
Oh.
That fucker's fun.
The Honda Aero 125 looked all like Devo with a pointy nose. It was like Devo wearing a plague mask to keep it topical. And a Honda Aero 125 was literally Subaru Sambar gold colored.
Yeah.
Right? The color that all Hondas were in like 1983.
And their dashes were awesome.
It was digital,
Yeah.
but not really digital,
No.
fake digital. It was analog with a digital background.
Right.
Right, exactly. There's a orange needle sweeping across a black background with an orange grid painted on it. Clearly, it looked like graph paper.
It was good.
But my mom gets on this thing, and we're trying to teach her how to ride it, and we're in the backyard. So backyard in Wycliffe meant that like you had 36 feet
Right.
wide.
So a two-stroke in
So
a 30 in a postage
We're in
stamp
the area that we
backyard.
pitch basketballs at the front of the garage.
Right.
That if you played it right, you could fit 2 Buicks side by side. And so we're in the backyard, and we had just enough room to run our garbage pick go-kart in circles,
Yeah.
full lock. And if you let it slide at all, if you drifted at all, you're in the neighbor's fence.
Right.
Chain link, brutal.
So by the time the bike got on pipe and
Yeah.
actually was able to move, you were at the end of your area.
So mom gets on this thing, and we're like, well, you got to give it some stick. And mom's a trooper. Like, don't let anybody sell mom short. Mom's 5'10". She, child of the 40s. She knows what's going on. And so she gets on this thing, true boomer, right? She'll do anything. And she gets on it, and we're like, well, you got to give it some revs to engage the transmission because it's a CVT.
Yeah.
And we're all riding all kinds of motorcycles. But mom's going to be on the scooter that we picked up for, like, cheap. Like, probably for, like, a gun.
And an 80 still goes, what, 65?
I don't know. Right, I don't know. It doesn't achieve maximum velocity in the backyard, but
Right.
fucking close.
Yeah.
And so mom gives it a little bit more stick, and that was when the variator and the two-strokiness all came together. And like that bike just tried to eat my neighbor's yard through the fence. And you ever seen like a bad dog chase a bird through a fence?
Yeah.
When the bird makes it through the fence and the dog doesn't?
Yeah.
And the dog just becomes one with the chain link fence, and just parts of the dog get through the fence. The painful parts. Well, my mom did the same thing, but she was about 350 at the time.
I wonder why her hip has problems now. Like, you're like, I don't know why this happened. I have no idea.
She came down off that fence, like, 'cause it was a 6-footer,
Yeah.
and her skull, like her head, was right at the crossbar
Wow.
of the 6-foot fence.
Boom.
Because, like, the scooter, just like I said, scooter tried to get in a neighbor's backyard. Didn't want the person involved at all. It was a bit of a hunter-jumper at that point. And so, yeah, mom comes down off the deal, and she's like, no, I'm going to try it again. And she probably shouldn't have tried it again.
Especially with their broken hip.
Nah, right, exactly. But she tried to go Wile E. Coyote 100% at the garage door. And my mom is a Sicilian woman, and she does not understand the meaning of, like, I couldn't do that.
Right.
So for Sicily, she's going to go it again.
The whole country.
It was bad. And the whole neighborhood saw our meatball supply diminishing in our future because mom only knew how to make like 26 pounds at a time. So, yeah, we all took her off the bike eventually because she couldn't make it turn in the backyard. But it was tight. It's tight course. Backyard's tight course, you know.
Two-stroke's never a good idea for a first.
No, for a first time out on anything, two-stroke is never a good idea. But you never think an 80cc scooter could fuck your mom over
Until
so
you
badly.
rode a 50cc Zuma. Drunk.
Yeah, well, yeah. But that's the game. So, but my mom knows more about narcotics right now than pretty much anybody. I watched her take a fucking what's the good one? The not Tramadol. The what's the Michael Jackson one?
Milk. Well, that's what they called it.
Fentanyl.
No, was it fentanyl?
My mom
propanol.
My mom took fentanyl.
Propanol. He was fucking on
Propanol?
propanol.
All right. Well, my mom was on fentanyl the other night.
Whoa.
And so they gave her a little syringe full of fentanyl because she was having some breakthrough pain. And they gave her this fentanyl, and I was like, she took it in stride. This kills people. This kills like hardened heroin addicts.
Yeah.
And they put it right in her IV, right in her vein, and here it goes. There she goes.
But I'm sure it wasn't random. Like they were like, here's 1 grain or whatever.
No, they gave her whatever the correct dosage is. They weren't trying to like, let's see what this bitch will do. It wasn't like a
open it up.
I mean, honestly, it wasn't like we weren't in Gillies, and this wasn't the mechanical mom. It was like, let's turn this thing to 11 and see if any cowboys can hang on. No, like it was legit. But she took it, and I was like, if you'd have given me any fentanyl, like because I've heard that like a molecule of it can kill me.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I don't do any more drugs anymore at all because I don't trust it anything.
Yeah,
but
no.
like my mom took like it said fentanyl on the syringe, like it was like straight up like on the syringe, go. And she took it and she was like, oh, and she went from a pain level like 9.5, which my mom's never been at a 10. She'll never admit to being a pain level 10 because that's weakness. And she went from there to like a pain level nothing. And she was still having a conversation.
But that's the thing, though. So that's what I learned from this hip thing.
Yeah.
Because I was petrified of painkillers. Like, listen, I love weed and all that, but I don't do drugs. I don't do that. Like, that's not my thing. Like,
There's a fine line.
Yeah, I'm serious. Weed is not a drug. Anyways.
Okay. Weed is not a drug.
That being said. That being said.
Right.
But so
if it was a drug, you need a prescription, Chris.
That's right. That's right.
Not just a dealer.
Yeah.
whatever.
That's a street supplier.
My point is that, like, so I didn't understand painkillers.
Right.
I didn't do them, whatever, right? But when you have legitimate pain, they actually just take away the pain.
It's remarkable.
Right.
It's magical.
It's only when you abuse them and you don't have pain and you suck them down is where you get all fucked up.
It's only when you're crushing up the third oxy and trying to snort it that you're abusing.
Because
That's
seriously,
what people do.
On your way to the White Castle.
No, but seriously, but like I really thought that even though I had the surgery, I was going to take this thing that the doctor gave me and I was going to feel all woo.
Become an addict. No, you don't feel any woo woo.
You don't feel anything.
No, you barely feel the pain kill.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, the pain went from like bad to being like not so bad.
Right, and they actually said like when you
soften
take
up with
them,
19 beers.
No, but they said when you start to take these and like you start to feel something, that's when you need to stop. So I stopped even before that. I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. Whatever, you know. But it is amazing. Like nobody tells you that. There's like so little education about this stuff.
Oh yeah.
If you actually are in pain and you're prescribed a painkiller, there's no high. There's nothing. It just does what it's supposed to do.
No, and they give like the weirder the name it. Like if you ever get a drug that's called like gabapentin, like you get a drug that has a bunch of syllables in it. The more syllables they put in it, the more they're trying to take it away from what it really is. So like, if I told you that there was a drug called Lyrica, you'd probably be like, oh,
okay,
Lyrica.
Sure.
I could ride horses. I could play tennis. And I wouldn't even spot my underwear.
I could write lyrics to a song.
It sounds like an allergy medication.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But you'd probably spot your underwear.
What if I called it methadone? Would you be okay if I called it methadone?
No. That's too many syllables.
Right? But Lyrica and methadone are the same goddamn thing. But Lyrica is marketed to, ladies with fibromyalgia.
Right.
Or
seriously, methadone and Lyrica are the same.
Same thing.
We would like our customers to call in and let us know. 1-800
Drug chat
podcast.
But yeah, Lyrica and methadone are the same thing. My mom takes it for her fibromyalgia. Yep.
So this one time,
and they take it for neuropathy too. So when they have neuropathy and they have like these feeling like their legs are on fire all the time, they can take Lyrica and go out and then ride horses and frolic in the wilderness and like I'm
gonna say this one time.
You watch those commercials, it looks like they're selling tampons, and you're like, it's Lyrica. What is Lyrica? And you're like, it's fucking methadone, man. It's the alternative to heroin.
My favorite commercials are with the women that are like, I'm so depressed.
Okay.
I'm already on an antidepressant. I need a second antidepressant.
I'm sorry. We've tried you on Lexa Amateur. Now we'll put you on Lexa Pro and Lexa Pro Plus. Welcome to a ClevelandMoto podcast.
So on a lighter note, I finally went to that Booze Road in Huron, that motorcycle wrecking.
Oh, you did?
I did.
You wait. You went to literally. You went to Bora's Cycle Salvage.
Right.
Bora's, not Booze.
No, isn't it on Booze Road though?
It is. Yeah. In Urine, right? The one on Urine in Urine, where it used to be an airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, Urine.
Urine.
We like to call it Whizville.
Amazing.
Nick's just totally just. Nick's like, I'm just here for the jokes.
And, so what kind of stuff do
You
they
guys
have?
have not said real words in the past like 3 minutes. Like, what is going on?
So you went to Bora's Cycle Salvage,
so I bought
which
a-
is in, I'm sorry, Huron, Ohio, which the locals
Okay.
pronounce Urine,
Gotcha.
which we call Whizville.
It's all making sense.
Now that we're all caught up,
Now that we're all caught up.
They do have a good Huron Pizza House. Has good pizza.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's really good.
so anyhow,
Yeah.
I needed a muffler catalytic converter for my 1150.
Okay. All
Because
right.
I don't know, I was riding home one day, pulled off the freeway, and all of a sudden it just like the silencer blew out.
Yeah, I was going to say, it literally exploded.
Yeah.
Right.
So when I was there, I'm like, have any R60 or R75 frames? And he's like,
And were you dealing with Mike?
yeah,
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
And he's like, we have an R100 frame and it'll fit. So I
Right.
bought the R100 frame. Instead of putting that motor on there, I'm going to just swap everything over.
Fuck
and-
yes.
So I'll be able to rebuild that R75.
Mike is magic.
Yeah.
Mike's
Nice
a good
straight
guy.
frame. I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
How much
it's-
stuff did they have there?
Oh, it's 5
Oh,
airplane
my-
hangers.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
Go ahead, bring it on.
unbelievable.
Tell us
Bring 'em
about
up.
it.
Oh, so you pull in and you wouldn't know that it's a motorcycle place because they have like 4 snowmobiles out front and
Okay.
But then and I didn't know I had the right place because it's like the old hangars from the airport and now the field's all. I don't think the airport exists anymore. It's just like they're fields and
it's all grown over.
No, it's not grown over. It's being tilled. So I missed it the first time. I came back around and went in there. The 2 guys come out. I was in the high ace, and he's like, "What kind of van is that? That thing is so cool." And he's like, we were talking about the
Yeah.
van, and so then I went in there, and
So like you were a superstar as soon as you pulled in with the
Yeah.
fucking
it was
van.
nice. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what kind of breaks the ice.
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
Steve gets it a lot.
Yeah.
So we went into the first shop. Is
Van
where
or
they're
his
tearing
wiener,
apart all
one
the
of the
parts. They have like bikes on lifts, and they're just pulling all the parts apart. But man, the smell of I don't know what like parts cleaner was so strong that when I walked in, it was like I was starting to have a hard time like breathing because it was like so strong. And so I'm in the office, and
They only really heat the first hangar. The hangar where the office is where they strip down all the bikes, and so that one's heated. And then the other hangars are pretty much just like there's a 2-stroke hangar, and it's just all the 2-strokes you ever
Awesome.
thought of. Yeah.
It really is awesome. But so I'm in the office, and then I asked about that, and he's like, "I'll just give it to you for $80." So $80 for the frame.
So
So that is an unbelievable deal, I think.
Did it come with
I
a
mean,
title or no?
No title, but
No,
it doesn't
it's
matter. I
fine.
have a title.
you have a
for
title
that.
for what you got.
Yeah.
So the guy.
Yeah.
So then but the fumes were so thick. I mean, if you lit a match in there, we all would have died. I mean, the fumes were so thick.
And
in
not
there.
just died, but like
Yeah, no, it would have been the biggest, explosion.
started the-
I used to buy stuff from his dad, and so when the business was still new, but Mike has the gift. He's got the shine. Like you can tell him I need this, and he just goes, yeah, it's in that box right there. It's in that 4th hangar over there behind that guy's ultralight over there. Next to the landing light collection. That's where you'll find what you need.
So anyway, couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And I started getting I had a cough.
Yeah.
Because the fumes were so thick.
Right.
And I'm like, I better not cough. These guys are going to shoot me and bury me in the field.
They
because,
don't give a fuck about COVID-19.
No, they could not give
No, they could not give a fuck.
I started coughing. Going,
No.
and they're like, nothing. It's like nothing. They're like, come on over here.
Yeah.
How are you going to pay? You want to pay for this
Right.
on PayPal? Here,
Right.
bring that phone over here.
Yep.
I'll show you how to do this.
I'll show you how to do it. Yeah.
So she grabs the phone.
Yeah.
It shows me how to
I love that
I don't
place.
know. They're really awesome people.
Yeah. If I need
Road
anything,
trip.
that is the first place I go. And it's a very weird thing because it is kind of, we keep it secret because he actually doesn't want people. There's a sign out front that says,
Go the fuck away.
well, what does the sign say? You drove past it. The sign says, not open for customers. Which is a hilarious sign because that means it's open for anybody who isn't trying to give him money.
Right.
Right. But it basically says it's not open to the public. But if you drive down the driveway, you see.
Then they try to asphyxiate you. And
Well, you see a
hang your
pile
one.
on the left, and you're like, well, those are all Honda 4-stroke singles. And you're like, oh, on the right, those are all Kawasaki twins and triples.
So they do most of their business online, or
They do.
Okay.
So he does most of his business online.
It's all a lot of eBay stuff.
Just tons of eBay stuff. And honestly, punters showing up there going like, well, I'm looking for a muffler for like any CB or like, whatever. I don't care, whatever. It's just giant waste of his time. Like the best way you can show up is just be like, look, I need part number HRC3021863. And he's like, gotcha. I need HMC 460388. Gotcha.
so
No
what
problem.
years do they specialize in? Anything or?
I'm going to say all.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
because I saw new gold. I saw like
Yep.
a 1800, not a new.
No, but a
1800,
10-year-old, yeah.
yeah, like a
Right.
newer gold
Yep.
wing, and they were stripping that apart.
Yep. And they always make
they had a
decisions.
couple 2-strokes. They were stripping apart. I mean, it was like
For a long
the
time-
gamut of everything in this.
They would only buy bike scrap yards that had like 500 bikes in them or more. So like their thing was they weren't going to come to your house and buy your bike.
Right.
They were going to go to your property and buy your 400 bikes.
Right.
And that's kind of the way they ran it. And it is funny because it is still an active airstrip. So people do still fly out of
See, I
there.
didn't even see the strip. I saw
Yeah.
like next to his shop is a field.
Yep.
That is like tilled.
Yeah. Well, there's
Is it
a
behind it? I mean, is the
so
airstrip behind?
in a couple of the hangars they've got some ultralights in there.
Oh.
Yeah. So they get some. It's a grass strip.
Oh, okay. So it's beyond. It's
Yeah.
behind.
It's not an FBO. It doesn't have.
Right,
No,
and the thing is
radio or
that
anything,
charts they issue charts every 2 years for airplanes, but
Called the John Denver charts.
yeah, John Denver, right? But like those it might not even be manned, it might not be anything, but those are there for. It might be an emergency field, but it's still listed on the charts as a field.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And the guy was really knowledgeable, and he knew exactly what to look for. He's like, I think I have that. Mm-hmm. He's like, I have two of these. I have an R65 frame and an R100 frame.
They're
I'm like,
really good
The
there.
R100 is probably more. I didn't know. I didn't remember if the R65 was a single side or not, so I
Right.
went with the R100 because I knew that was.
No, the R100 is going to be safe for you. I mean,
Right.
that's going to be
I mean,
yeah.
it's exactly the same frame, and I could use the subframe, and so it's
Exactly.
It's gonna be fine.
I think that's going to be a really good build for you too. That's going to be kick-ass. That's called Boris Cycle Salvage. It's on Boos. I love it. Boos Road. Yeah,
yeah.
Boos Road. The
It's a nice ride too.
it's a really cool spot. It is badass.
By the former Cedar Point.
No, wait, it's still Cedar Point. Yeah, but it's called
As long as
Boris
10 people
Cycle.
are only
That's
there.
Bores. So it's Bores, which is also Hind Airport, HINDE. So if you want to try to fly in,
And get a
you
part-
better have some fucking STOL, bitch. Because if you don't have some STOL, you ain't getting into that goddamn
You have to
airport.
slip.
Yeah, that is not. I don't think the Ford Tri-Motor can get in there. I don't think the Tin Goose can get in there. Yeah.
You have to use full flaps to get.
You're gonna
out,
have
too.
flaps out the ass at that point. Yeah, if you're not got giant, chubby, fat Alaska tires on that thing, you ain't coming in.
go around.
Go around. Get your ass up to Sandusky or what have you. But Boris Cycle Salvage, Boris. That's Bores, like boars, not pronounced that way. Technically, though, I do love the fact that I am looking at it on Google Maps right now, and this guy's house is tagged as Huron Airport.
Nice.
So he's still listed as Huron Airport. That runway has got to be
12 feet long.
100, 200, 300. That runway might be a 440. That might be a quarter mile.
So you can get
No,
a
it's
super cub
probably
out
not.
of there.
Yeah.
That's about
Dude, you have
I don't think you could launch an Impala with JADOs off of that fucking runway.
Dude, you guys have no idea. So I obviously I used to fly giant scale airplanes and
Right.
stuff, right? And there was this dude named Doc Martuccio who has a property just on the Ohio PA border, right there, right. And so he wanted to fly, but he works. He's an optometrist, and he worked too much. So he bought this property, and it built a barn, and then he had this yearly fly-in, which was he catered everything. It was like this big thing. Yeah. Well, across the way was a cub flying club, like a full-scale cub flying club. And it's all these farmers that have been using Cubs. I
love the way you say full scale. Well, no, it's just an airplane.
Well, for me, because I was.
Oh my God! You had this fucking 1-to-1 model. Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, for us, because it was we had 50%, and they had full scale, so that's why I say that. But anyways, so we're sitting there, and at noon, we're all flying and doing stuff. He's like, I need everybody to land at noon. We're going to have a show. Right. And we're like, okay, cool. Right. So at noon, we all land, and he brings out food, and we're all hanging out eating. And 10 Cubs come. Yeah. And they're flying, and like, most of them just do a flyby. Sure. But this one, a traditional yellow Cub, the whole thing. Well, some of them are blue and white, and they had a couple Super Cubs, whatever, and some checkers on them. But this one comes and it goes real slow and it almost drags a wingtip. Yeah. Goes straight up in the fucking air at about 50 feet, does a rudder over. Yeah. Comes back down, all this shit. And we're like, holy fuck, this guy's great. Yeah. Fucking airplane lands and this 78-year-old dude in overalls gets out with a cane. Of course. And fucking walks over and he's checking out our airplane. He's like, what the fuck's going on over here? But meanwhile, I'm like, this motherfucker just like he's doing fucking aerobatics and all this shit. And he's 78 years old. Cubs are awesome.
How come you never found for like flying half scale? How come you never found like a little person to?
Oh, dude,
stuff in there.
There's been many thoughts.
Because I'm thinking somebody like 3 foot tall and maybe 140 pounds.
Dude, I
saw that movie, Leprechaun.
Well, check this out. Speaking of half scale airplanes, so a couple years ago when the RNC was in Cleveland, right? Yeah. I was still working pretty heavily in the drone industry, and I was known as an expert, if you will. And so I got called in, and the FBI had a whole thing down in the Berkeley for an airport at the old high school, the aviation high school. Yep. They had their whole broadcast setup. There was like trucks and things and 50 dudes in black suits. Like it was fucking crazy, right? Okay. So they had me come down and they asked me some questions. They're like, so, you fly big drones, you fly these cinema cameras. How long can they fly and all this stuff? And I'm like, well, the big drone, we can get about 14 minutes carrying about 20 pounds with this many batteries and all this stuff and everything. Like, oh. And so I was like, what you really need to be worried about is that for $99, you can buy a Eagle Tree flight control system and put it in a 50% scale Cub.
Absolutely.
I can park that bitch at Perry, start it with 2 gallons of gas and 100 pounds of explosives, fucking drive away and have that thing take off by itself, fly around for 2 hours in a circle, and then pinpoint the fucking stadium and land it and blow up.
Absolutely.
And everybody there was like,
and
we didn't know about this.
Like, turns out scale modelers.
Yeah. Right. And guess what happened now? Everything's canceled, and the FAA just took over all the airspace. And you can't do anything.
So this was your fault.
It's my fault.
The fact that I can no longer fly a 250-gram airplane is your fault.
Yeah.
250 grams.
No, seriously, it's
is
crazy.
Is it a Tomahawk or is it a 1/4 scale B-52?
No, but
I don't know.
It was crazy how little they knew about this stuff. Like they really didn't know this shit existed.
Federal government.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I hate to be that way, but guess what?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm going to call it for the podcast because why not?
Yeah.
And so for all you poor bastards who are sequestered, which I'm sure we will be next week.
Yep.
Because we're just a week behind you guys. We'll drop this tonight. We'll put it out there. That the hotline's open.
Yeah.
So get on Patreon. You'll get the hotline number. And you can shoot shit out like Big Ben has and like Rand has. And we do, we want to play with you guys. We want to have fun with you guys. And at the Patreon $5 and $10 level, Renee will ask you how big you are. And then she'll send you the appropriate size T-shirt and or coffee mug or pint glass.
Appropriate size.
I did look into eventually, like maybe this summer and after the fucking zombie virus stops.
Right.
I did download some software, OBS, which can support multiple cameras and inputs and stuff, and we can do eventually. We can work it out. And for our Patreon people, we should be able to do a live broadcast.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
And the podcast Patrons will get this amazing Ride Fast and Take Chances beer koozie that has the ClevelandMoto helmet on the backside. And be careful when you do. If you do get one of these, do not insert
your penis.
Anything into it once it's been decompressed.
Yeah, no, you have to put it in hard.
It has to be in. Now, hold on, Steve. You can't just go putting it in all. You can't go thumbing it in.
No.
You got to really, it's got to be firm.
You
It works great for bottles.
Yeah,
though.
bottles.
It does work great for
Really
bottles.
does work great
It works
for bottles.
fantastic for
For
bottles.
cans, if you have a can size can, it has to be
the
fully
point
erect.
being that, just don't pull the tab first.
No.
Come at it firm.
You couldn't have popped it first.
No, you can't pop it first. No, you got to come at it 7 a.m. proper,
Yeah.
like
Before you pee.
like a good piece of maple.
Don't put it on after it's been popped.
That's the only way to come at it is the first time unpopped.
Unpopped, right.
Right, and if you do that, it'll work great, and it does look very slimming on the can.
It does?
because it is black. It makes everything look slimmer, and it does work. My my Natter Miracle is still chilled after all this time.
2 hours.
And it's 7 months. So
Yeah.
that's true. That spring beer from Columbus is still got a spring in its step. So there's that. Anyone got anything else? Fuck it, ride fast, take chances. Bum bum ba da bum ba ba da bum ba da bum ba. Don't give each other 10 feet.
Take chances. Ride fast, take chances. Ride fast, make change. Ride fast, make change. Ride fast, make change. Ride fast, make change. Go.